I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and due to some unforeseen circumstances, we're starting straight from the middle of the first match of the day, where the Argentinian player with screen name Big Nacho 610 was playing against the Spanish player with screen name Loco Elo. This is Q3, so the qualification for the Carcassonne Champions League 2025, meant for winners of other international tournaments. They're fighting for the tournament life, and this is already their second game. So Ignacio has won the first one, and the second one looks like it is going the Spaniards' way, at least for now. So we're very much likely to see a decider. And probably the way we're going to do this, we're going to watch the beginning of the decider. Of course, we're going to finish watching this game where the 13 tiles are remaining. Then we're going to switch to our second match of the day between the Chilean Vladimir and the Mexican Daniel. And then after that, we're going to catch up on the first game of this match that we missed and just do a brief analysis of how Big Nacho won against Loco Elo. So thank you all for your patience and for waiting. There's still a lot of Carcassonne to be enjoyed today. So let's start making sense of this position. The Argentinian with the patriotic blue meeples is 7 points behind on the scoreboard. Still has 2 extra meeples to use, and he uses one of them to clean off a city cap, get 4 extra points. Loco Elo, in the meantime, is just trying to get every point he can from his 1 meeple. So he just adds a point over here. An interesting approach would have been placing his last meeple over here and trying to hope for the couple remaining city caps that still fit into that square. Very risky, but of course would have been very interesting. But it's not something that Black needs to do, because Black is ahead 7 points on the scoreboard. This city here is blocked with both blue and black. Nothing fits into that square because the quadruple city tile that would have fit here is here. So it's actually Black that has the 4 points up top versus the 1 point of blue. So Black is 3 points ahead in that mini battle. That already makes it 6. Then Blue has 7 points for this city part, and Black has 5 points for this city part. So 2 extra points for Blue means that Black is at +5, but Black also has this 8-point monastery that makes it +13, and also Black is 1 tile away from taking over this sizable field in the center. Well, not right now, because it is the blue player who has the curve, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, still 3 curves remaining. So much so, it could be in Blue's interest to place the curve here and to just take 4 points for the road, allow Black to take over this field. Black would have 2 meeples majority versus 1 blue meeple. But at least what that would do, that would make sure that he gets 4 road points and Black doesn't get the 4 road points. And after that, Black's probably going to get his meeple back for this monastery at some point, unless Big Nacho finds some sort of block. Maybe actually if we go over here right now, would that work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, that would. So that's a possible move. If we just go over here, then there are no more straight lines remaining in the deck, or no more road monasteries remaining in the deck that would fit into this monastery square. And given that it could be worth fighting for this big field, you know, this blocking attack might actually be productive. Yeah, so instead he goes for the immediate field attack, which also makes complete sense. Loco Elo, of course, can take these 4 road points, but Blue is setting up 5 road points over here with a chance to take over, well, to equalize this field. But I'm thinking that there's some platforms available for taking over this field completely. The move that I'm thinking is going over here with a curve, dropping a farmer like this, and then using the last remaining starting tile. So there are no more straight roads remaining, but there is one of these guys, which is almost like a straight road with an extra city piece. To go over here, take 5 points for a road, and to bring a farmer into the field like this. So the hope for blue in this situation lies in the fact that all the field connection opportunities allow to gain extra value along the way. So just a dumping of a city tile for blue. Black gets his meeple back finally. Vignacio gets a crossroads, and tricky position for him. Should he just take 4 points over here, or should he already drop another farmer and then hope for that starting tile? And dropping that farmer could be already something that's worth doing. There's still one curve available to fit here. Maybe some dagger tiles too. No daggers, just the one curve. Let's see if there are any road Doritos. No road Doritos available. So in fact, just one tile that blue needs to draw to connect to the field as a minimum. And then maybe if just blue goes here, drops a farmer, yeah, blue will be relying on 2 tiles. So blue decides that it's still unnecessary risk. I'm not sure if that's the case, because the leads of black is kind of severe, if you ask me. So what could we do as black? Maybe just drop another farmer somewhere. Like, just dropping here for 3 points is fine. Okay, here for 3 points is even better. Okay, so now Ignacio gets a city cap tile, and there's still one of those remaining. So why don't we go over here, drop a 3-point farmer, and then still have some chance of drawing a city cap to connect to the main field? This would be easily blockable, but at least, yeah, and he recognizes that. Well done. But sadly, for all our Argentinian fans, the last curve is drawn by the Spaniard, so this meeple will not be making it to this field. He will not be getting these extra 5 points, and to rub it in, he's also blocking this entry square for the field, so the game is completely over. There isn't really anything much to be done. Maybe just 7 points over here for this city, for the city, 3 for the field. But of course, this will be nowhere near enough to equalize what has been going on the scoreboard. And this match will be tied 1-1. A reminder that this is a best of 3. And we still have 13 minutes before the start of the next match to enjoy at least the beginning of the decider. Hi Glavier, hi Devaka, hi Ian, hi Leo. I see we have a slight majority of Argentinian fans today. Do let me know if anybody is rooting for Spain here. GG saying Locoello, and the G is indeed G if you are rooting for Spain. Very nice control of the game with the meeple minority, managed to complete a monastery, invade with a farmer, fend off another attacker, and I believe that even if this guy were to connect to this field, that still would not have been enough. So actually what blue needed to do was taking over the field completely. Yeah, so 24 points indeed is the difference, and we will be headed into the decider in just a second. So the game has already been created. Let me just update the score to reflect the match situation. Because of the double elimination format of the tournament, I'll need to remind that this is a do or die situation for both of the players, so they cannot afford any more losses. They have already lost 1 game each. Let's actually check that real quick if we have time. So has the game started yet? No, it has not. So if you just go to the tournament bracket here of Q3 and look at the players' histories, we can see that at the start, Ignacio lost 2-0 against the reigning Mind Sports Olympian champion Krish Kautis with a screen name Krishna, and Locoello lost against Siegfried, the reigning vice champion of the entire world. Then in the losers bracket, Locoello got past Lazy Boar of the UK, and now they're here fighting for their chance to play in the losers bracket semifinals against Squalus of France, the former French captain. So that's the situation that we're in. And the decider has started, I believe. Yeah, just 1 minute ago. 2 moves have been made. It is the Argentinian who has gone first with this road. No. Wait. That's not how it worked. Yes. Okay, I need to reconstruct this. 4 points for Locoello, 2 points for the road for the Argentinian. Yeah. 2 points for this road for the play with the Black Meeples, and now the Argentinian with the road Monastery. 2 good places. Wait, multiple good places actually where to place it. This is my favorite one. Adding a point to his road directly, and also starting to control Black's road as well. There was also a possibility to do the same on the other side, to add a monastery here, but then if Blue were to do that, Black had a chance to get a curve and connect his worse road to the better road of Blue. This now is no longer possible. Ignacio now needs to think what to do with this straight line. He just decides to prolong his road and to even drop an early farm, which also makes sense actually, because there are a lot of green squares. Even though there is now only 3 points, the potential of this field is actually huge. There were some other options available, but now the Spaniard gets a road monastery and has this nice couple over here. Blue just continues his road, but at the same time it also helps Black's monastery. Black gets not the easiest tile to play, actually. Really no good moves for Black in this situation. You can't go here, because that would make this square vulnerable, more so than usual, because 3 out of the 4 starting tiles have gone out. This move makes sense, but it's also extremely risky due to this tile over here, due to the fact that this square is restricted, that there are no starting tiles remaining. Well, there's 1 starting tile remaining, but now that I think about this, of course he immediately gets a tile to get him 2 points and prolong his city. It wasn't actually that risky, because it would require Blue an extraordinary amount of effort to actually manage and restrict this square toward the starting tile. So that's very nice exhibit of fearlessness on the part of the player with the Black Meeples, as the Argentinian continues his own city on the right, setting up to get his first 8 points on the scoreboard with his next tile. Black continues his city, trying to finish his monastery with another monastery, but also this square is slightly vulnerable. Again, all because of the fact that 3 out of the 4 starting tiles have gone out. Nothing much that we can do with this move, so 3 points would be the normal move here for the road, kind of leaving a shielded tile up for grabs. A more aggressive move would be going over here. Aggressive when it comes to blocking, not to point scoring, and actually meepling the new city. Hoping to get another city tile and restrict the square towards the Dorito. But it's just something that we can do later, because with 8 curves still available in the deck, I really don't like leaving this 3-point road for our opponent. If anything, actually, I would have preferred earlier a meeple on this 1-point road, just so that now we don't have to make this dilemma. Because it was predictable that, you know, something would go over here, and then if there were a blue meeple on this tile, then... Yeah, wait, it actually makes me very surprised. I wonder, I don't agree with this move, Blue. I think Blue should have just finished his road when he still could. Blue indeed goes the aggressive route. Now, if he started, he should continue, should go over here. This move by Loco Yellow is very interesting. So it does preserve the chances of completing this monastery, which is in Black's interest rather than Blue's, but it also drops a couple of city caps in what is still Blue's field, and likely to remain Blue's field for the majority of the game. But I guess Black's idea is to drop a city cap and then to drop a farmer and then connect to this field himself. Ignacio now gets a city tile, and that has a variety of purposes. So he could either finish his road over here, at the same time indirectly protecting his city at the top. He could just take 3 quick points over here, restricting also this square, not allowing easy road points for Black. And of course, but both moves would have downsides. Well, actually, this move doesn't really have downsides. This move would have the downside of making this city slightly vulnerable for Blue. There is also a third alternative. With the previous move, Black prolonged his road but also created an attacking platform against Blue's city. So just adding the city tile straight up here and going for the larger city with a bunch of Doritos, that's also completely doable. But I really like this move here. Sort of the most natural one. It makes this square next to Black's monastery slightly more vulnerable. Blue is thinking whether to meeple the city, and the answer is clearly no. I hope that he doesn't get any ideas which are too interesting. It's easier than usual to get your meeple blocked in a city like this. And he indeed thinks about it, but thinks better of it, gets his first 5 road points, 6 road points on the scoreboard, and continues the game. This allows the Spaniard to take 3 points for the road, at the same time blocking this 3-point road for his opponent. Najona needs to find pretty much the only move in this position, of course, going over here. You really want to prevent your opponent from finishing the city with the city cap and dropping an immediate farmer. This threat, of course, is now immediately renewed by Black as he adds a Dorito tile into this square, but the positive side effect for Blue as a result of this exchange, 2 extra monastery points. City cap for Blue, it is a very nice acquisition from the deck. 2 choices, either to finish the city at the bottom or finish the city at the top. Well, the best move is to finish the city at the bottom because it's the one which is the more vulnerable one. This city is safer for a variety of reasons. So first of all, there is only 1 platform for attacking the city as opposed to 2 platforms next to this guy over here. And second, because there's still multiple monasteries in the deck, if somebody places a monastery over here, that will even further restrict this attacking square. Alright, now the Spaniard finishes his own city, drops a farmer to start fighting for the field, and a great tile for Nacho as he gets to go over here and start a blocking attack on Black's monastery, already restricting it somewhat, but the meeple here, I have to say, is rather horrible. And also he did it way too fast. There is just no reason to use the meeple here this early. Because, yeah, the point is, he can just block. I mean, of course, he's now going to block this square. But then he ends up in a losing mini battle with 4 points versus 7. I'm really don't fully understand this move. I mean, I guess I understand the idea. The idea is that you want to prevent your opponent from, you know, drawing a Dorito tile and meepling the new city. But if your opponent meeples the new city, then you can attack it later. So it won't be that damaging really for blue, because blue still has the temporary meeple majority, but that's what it is. The majority is temporary, because eventually Locoello will draw the city cap that fits over here, get his 13 beautiful scoreboard points for the monastery and the city cap, and then he'll use those new meeples for fighting on the field. Also, we need to remember that there still is a 50-50 chance of drawing this cap over here. Nacho now can't block, but he can go over here, setting up the completion of his monastery. That would be the best move in this situation. This move is, by the way, setting up a straight line, hoping to block this square and this square at the same time. So actually, an idea is, instead of going here, is to go over here and try to start blocking this farmer. Yeah, but another reason I'll be highly critical of this move still is because in some scenarios, these two meeples get tied together, like with a couple of cow tiles, and then you end up with two meeples on a trapped ruin, which is, of course, you know, two meeples trapped is always worse than one. The second match will be starting shortly, but this game looks fairly interesting, so I probably want to follow it for a little bit longer, maybe possibly until the end, and then after that we will start watching the second match, not from the beginning. Now, great tile for Nacho. He managed to completely block this square, to completely block this square, so at the very least Locoello just in time manages to connect on the left, as blue was probably preparing to block this square as well. Crossroad tile for blue, lovely scoring tile, probably 2 quick points somewhere, needs to think what's the best way to shape the board here. Decides to take the most pretty spot. Actually, I like this move because he's setting up a 4-point road over here with a crossroads, no, with a straight line and a curve, which he's much more likely to benefit from than his opponent, because he's the one with the meeples. But now Locoello also has meeples, and even has more points on the scoreboard as he completes the city in the north and still has an excellent chance of recovering his monastery meeple in the middle. Monastery tile for the Nacho player here, and no good places to use it. Maybe going here and dropping a farmer is not the worst idea. This square is actually surprisingly hard to block. And if you go over here, you also preserve the chances of drawing a splitter that fits into the square. It's something that mildly benefits blue rather than black. Yeah, and then if you go over here, just use it as a farming tile. Even if this square gets blocked, then you may recover this monastery meeple, and this road will be trapped. So there isn't really an easy way for this move to be of negative consequence for blue. Blue can probably play a bit chickeny now, enter the field, although ideally we want to be entering this field with a simple curve rather than a curve with a cap, because a simple curve will make sure that this platform at the top is eliminated, whether this curve with a cap has some downsides. So somebody could go over here, meeple the city for like 7 points, for 4 points, of course, and then after that, after this city's meeples, go over here, drop a farmer, and connect either through here or through here. So he'll be thinking about this, but then on the other hand, why don't you just do this now? Okay, so he decides to be patient a bit with the field connection. I think he wants full control of the field. His idea is to get one of the main remaining city caps and drop yet another farmer over here. Now he will be interesting, either connecting to the field with the better tile or finishing his monastery first. Not sure what's preferable. It's certainly nice to be getting a meeple back without giving a meeple back to your opponent. Black, in the meantime, connects to blue's city, kind of to prevent that idea with the splitter. The reason why for blue, it would be beneficial to split, despite the fact that the black side of the city is larger, is because then black would need a city cap tile to complete his part of the city for 10 points. But black already needs a city cap tile in another place to finish his monastery. Oh yeah, speaking of that, actually, so Nacho would not be finishing his monastery immediately because this square is not filled, but he still pre-finishes his monastery now that the city cap tile will benefit both parties equally. So just a question of who draws it first. Black restricts the ruin of blue slightly, also make sure that blue cannot use another fields connection platform here. Yeah, not the easiest situation for black, but there's some winning strategies. I think black needs to make sure that this square is blocked, this meeple is blocked. Yeah, and then black is doing well. Or maybe black could ignore both those spots and sacrifice the field, perhaps, if they manage to get a lot of quick point tiles. Like, overall, it does look for the Argentinian, good for the Argentinian simply because of the meeple situation. But let's see how it develops now as Mr. Nacho here just adds 1 point to his ruin, also setting up another fields connection platform potentially. Yeah, and we can see the idea of Locuelo here, so he tries to start to block the square. It's a double-edged move, because there is only one tile that fits into that square, but there is one tile that fits into that square. It's actually the same tile as this, just turned upside down, of course. And this move would give extra city points to blue if you were to draw it, so that could get quite painful real quick. So probably Locuelo would need to continue blocking that square, and I think this is actually what he does. He continues building his rows, he wants to get points, he understands that he still needs to score, and then when he's going to add one more road point to himself, then he's going to create a blocking platform to put something here and block the square permanently. This could backfire in some interesting fashions, as actually there are some interesting routes into the main field through here. So in order to accomplish this block, you would need to require really good spatial vision. So for example, on his next move, black would really like to draw a tile that blue has in hand to either go here or actually go here and start blocking that square. Still a lot of city caps remaining. And the Spaniard does draw one of them, gets 4 extra points, and frees up the monastery meeples both for himself and for his opponent. So now the game will be a bit more open. Both players have an extra meeple in hand, and they will be more willing to use them, as Nacho now will complete his city and probably drop another farmer instantly. Probably debating between meepling the city cap and meepling the farm. It's very close. In this position, meepling the farm is slightly preferable, just because of the immediate access to the main field that it provides. So soon enough we're going to see this move. There isn't really anything else in this position for blue. Hi Nalaheim. Yes, and we see that Nacho drops a farmer. Leaving the city cap open is not as bad, given that there is already one city cap here, and access to the field is generally more important than the quick points. He can probably afford to take these quick points here himself. So this is also another of those interesting situations. So black does create a blocking opportunity over here, but actually, given the fact that there still is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's still one curve remaining, there's still a possible field connection like this. Straight line, curve, curvy tile, and again, through the outside of this road. This, of course, would add 2 extra road points to this guy, but the field, the most important part, that remains the invariant. But blue might be okay with just keeping his meeple there north, trapped with 3 points. It only slightly loses to this 5-point road of black. Black will need to spend another tile on blocking the square, so blue just going to keep racking up points at the bottom, and he'll hope to get this farmer into the field. He's only 4 scoreboard points behind. And now Locoello here is trying to block the access of the other farmer to the field. That makes sense, but it has some problems, this move. So first of all, there's still access through this square. Not for long, perhaps, as maybe the Spaniard could place a tile here to completely eliminate the amount of tiles that fit here. But there's still 2 tiles, 2 dagger tiles that fit into that square, so really good chances for blue to connect to the field. And with this move, which was a necessary move, I agree it was a good move, but the downside is that it makes it hard for black to use this platform for reinvasion of the field. And it's something that black might need to have to do at some point. Because the more cities are completed on the field, the more important it becomes. Black has some nice points. Black has, you know, this 8-point monastery, the 3-point city that add up to 11, this 6-point road, which is adds up to 17. Blue has what has become a nice ruin, so I'm still going to criticize this meeple over here because blue simply could have meepled that ruin later, risk-free, as he had so much more on his scoreboard, but it ended up working out for him just fine with the 9 points that he has here. Mr. Nacho here now has a city cap tile. A possible use for this tile is just to go here, simply to add 3 points to this farmer that's dwelling in this place, as black managed to successfully complete the block over here, so this farmer will not be joining the party, especially after this particular tile has been placed here, because it also eliminates those ideas to connect through this route as well. Just because now this square is severely restricted. Yeah, so black could go over here. The downside, of course, is giving even more meeple to his opponent, but he's also getting an extra meeple for himself and 3 immediate points. Really not many better options for his opponent. Now, Mr. Elo here decides to drop a farmer, you know, a ninja farmer with to connect through the outside of a curve, also whilst adding a couple of road points to himself in the process. And this also sets up this really dangerous 8-point city opportunity for whoever's the first to draw one of these tiles that fit here. So really a creative move. Instead of going for the kind of usual 4 points and waiting for the ultimate decision for later, black really made a extremely aggressive move here. Blue now, I think, missed a chance to meeple this road, so he's now trying to block this field connection. But I think meepling the road would be a nice insurance, making sure that if the connection is successful after all, then black is forced to let blue equalize this road. And this road is going to be a 9-point road. It's not going to be a 6-point road anymore. So, I mean, not meepling this guy, I think, is definitely a miss here. Because Mr. Nacho is not going to really have good places to deposit meeples, other than more farmers, of course. Yeah, there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's also some extra reasons for doing that. So actually, if you meeple, okay, that's interesting. So Mr. Nacho is trying to further obstruct that square. He's not successful just yet. But we still have a chance to either go here and expand our field at the top, which would make sure that whenever this city is being scored for, then it belongs to this guy. And he does that. Now the Spaniard invades the field successfully and actually takes it over now, not equalizes. So surely the Argentinian and all his fans must be kicking themselves for not meepling this earlier. But there's still one tile that fits into that square, and one tile that fits into that square. And if blue manages to draw a curve to deny this meeple entry to the field, and then he manages to draw one of the last remaining this tile, then he'll get into the field as well. But it's a lot of ifs. And of course, the option of drawing a city cap and taking these tiles are still here. He decides to drop a farmer like this. Not sure how efficient that is. Not particularly, to be honest. It seems that there must have been some other ways of attacking. But let's see if that works out for him at all. So, black should have been super happy. Snatch the 8 points. Don't think there's anything just as good. Instead, he chooses to make what looks like a defensive move, but is absolutely not worth it, if you ask me. But you know, I could be proven wrong, but it doesn't even restrict, like it doesn't even deny access to the field, it only restricts it towards a 50-50. Oh no, it does restrict it completely. No, that's actually a really good move, yeah. Because there's no, this is the last vanilla tile of its kind. There are no more of those remaining. So this guy will not be entering that field, but at the very least, this farmer did something. It forced black to use a city cap, whilst they could have used it for scoring here. So this farm ended up gaining 12 points, actually. So it was 7 points for this farm, because 3 for the farm, 4 for the city. And this tile represents 5 points. The net 5 points that black would have gained by taking this 8-point city. Now it looks like the game might come down to a 50-50. To be honest, I wasn't big on counting the points. Hi, Pichan. I wasn't big on counting the points here, but at least what I remember from the tiles is that one of the tiles remaining is this dagger tile that fits here. Not sure what the other one is, and it does indeed become the property of the Argentinian. The field is now equalized, and who has more points on the board? I think it is blue or black. It's going to be incredibly close because the black has the long road, but blue has the extra field and the ruin. But black has the monastery, but blue has the road. Like, I'm really not sure here. Oh, so it's actually not... No, it is close. So yeah, so just 3 points is the difference. And the Spaniard takes it with a massive comeback. So first of all, losing 0-1 in the match, and then winning the second and the third game with some nice field attacks. Yeah, this was also a nice find, which was not obvious to me. And yeah, we congratulate the Spaniard for advancing for the next stage, and commiseration for all of our Argentinian fans. And I think the move that should keep Big Nacho awake at night for a couple of days after this is this move over here without a meeple on the road. If only this blocking attempt was done with the meeple on the road, then once the black meeple were to enter the farm, blue would equalize the 9-point road together with black, And we can see that the way Blue spent his meeples afterwards, he was not able to get anywhere near 9 points. In fact, he was only able to get 3 with his last meeple. So 6 points more is what Big Nacho would have had, and instead of losing by 3 points, he would have won by 3 points. So very interesting game, very interesting farming game. A lot of blocking here and here and here. And here, of course, yeah, ultimately just this road. So to quote Vladimir Kovalov, never underestimate the importance of roads. But after I update the score, we will be headed straight to the match of another Vladimir, the Vladimir from Chile with the screen name thisisvegancl. Let's see if they live up to the skill and titles of their namesake. So this game we're leaving for later. Oh! Hi, Daniel. Well, isn't that interesting? So that's good at least that we caught a glimpse of the other match because... Because we might have yet another no-show on stream. And the way this works is a bit different from the way it works in the World Championship. Because in the World Championship, a no-show is an automatic loss, whereas here you just get a yellow card. And if you don't show within 15 minutes, then you need to reschedule your match. And then if you get 3 yellow cards of any kind, then the next one is a red card, which means an automatic loss in the next match. Let's actually have a look. I think it's in the rules. Yeah, warnings. So there's even a list of guilty players, which I do not believe is exhaustive. So, yeah, you can see that you can get a yellow card for no-show. And you can also get a yellow card for like ignoring messages or just not showing enough effort to arrange the matches. But I believe all of these players are still doing fine. They did end up playing their games eventually. So it looks like we're not having our second match, but what we will have is the analysis of the first game. Hi, Ignacio. Commiserations for your loss. But you know, as promised, instead of the second match, we're gonna do what I thought we'd be doing after the second match. We'll just be catching up on the one game that we missed. So the first game between... No, not this design. The first game... Oh, come on, both players are using the new design. What is that? All right. Yes, we'll be catching up on the first game from the match that you just witnessed between Big Nacho and Locoello. We'll be looking at it from the Spaniard's perspective, but it doesn't really matter from whose perspective we're looking. I just typically like to pick the player who went first. So both players exchange natural moves. It says the Argentinian who is advancing on the scoreboard. Yeah, so an early farmer from Locoello. Definitely something needs to be done to compensate for all of these city caps. Yeah, Daniel, do let us know if your opponent does suddenly show up, but after 24 minutes, it's not something that we should really be hoping for. Yeah, this sort of move. I am not a fan of this sort of stuff. It might end up working out. I mean, tactically, it's nice. Because it's, you know, leaves a couple of city caps open, and the idea is that whoever takes a city cap over here will open up an attacking platform against this square. But strategically, it creates a bigger field in the place where there is already quite a big field. So it says, because this field will grow to 9 points and to 12 if this is getting completed. And now as blue, you gotta ask yourself, is it really in your interest to make this field very bigger? Because as blue, what you got very nice going for you is the scoreboard advantage, and your opponent does not have really enough stuff to equalize. Well, I guess they have almost enough because, so this is 4 points for the road, and this is potentially 6 points for the city, because the values of the tiles will get doubled if the cities get completed. But, you know, this road still needs to be finished. The city still needs to be completed. We might invade it later. And we're probably going to have a slight lead here. Now, by making this big field, so first of all, you are just increasing the stakes in this game when it comes to this field, and then what might happen is that the scoreboard lead will be completely inconsequential. There are some situations where, like, if there is a 30-point field, it doesn't really matter if you're ahead 5 points on the scoreboard or 25 points on the scoreboard. It's just about the field. Like, if you equalize, you win. If you lose the field, then you lose. By keeping the position a little bit smaller and maybe making another move, something like going over here and starting a new city, so playing much smaller, maybe starting to attack this road and so on, that would be just a way to make it sure that your 12 points that you already have are more likely to matter in the end of the game. I mean, this still could be possible. Like, there are some chances to separate if we draw a cow tile. Actually, if we draw a cow tile, that would be just amazing. We get to place it here. We get to block that square. We get to keep this guy at 3 points. We get to separate our field, like all kinds of stuff. But not the most likely outcome necessarily. And what this move does, like tactically, it's nice to create this attacking platform. But like overall, before making a big field, you just got to ask whose side is the one that benefits. And the answer in this situation, I believe, that is black rather than blue. Oh, thank you, Wise Maze, for suggesting the tiles. Okay, so that's already a nice gain that we have. I believe it's a misstep, slight misstep from black here. The best move is just cleaning off the city cap and scoring the 4 points. Because the idea to protect the city is nice, because you're kind of trying to prepare that somebody's going to take 4 points over here, then this square is going to be vulnerable, and so on and so on. But giving up this platform is something that I really don't like as black, because this expands the pool of useful tiles by quite a bit. Now with the cow tile, we can go over here. With the Dorito tile, we can go over here as blue equalize the city, and then all we have is a 4-point road against 12 scoreboard points, and it just really is a bit too much. So probably just 4 points are better than hoping to draw something else for this tile. Let's see. Yeah, of course you make. Oh, the road meeple is a bit extra. Maybe that's some inspiration from the Spanish play with Queen Mestronte here. But yeah, sure, with the road meeple is also fine, actually, because very often it turns off into a 4-point loop. Yeah, I kind of like the road meeple. Yeah, I really like the road meeple, because there's because obviously there are just so few road tiles on the board that these 2 points could end up mattering. And the main idea is, of course, to stop black from completing the city and dropping a farmer at the same time. Eventually, black will have other farming platforms in a variety of places, but you don't want to give them that tempo. All right, so they do drop a farm right here. There are now some risky things that could occur. You know, this square is sensitive, and there are lots of sensitive squares. You get a curve, you continue your road on the right. Yeah, and that's also a very nice idea. So you can either continue the road and kind of try building it and blocking the square, or worst case scenario, your opponent finishes a city, you get a crossroads. That's very nice from blue. Black gets the first monastery of the game. It's a fantastic placement. But actually, as black, now that I think about this, maybe we can be bolder and just go over here. It's just 1 point less, but it sets up this monastery even nicer. So it's a bit more of a high variance approach, but having this evil hamster next to your monastery is actually quite beneficial for you. And there's still this monastery spot anyway, so if blue goes over here, blue's still going to take these points, except that blue's not going to help you with your monastery. And also the problem with this move is that if we get one more monastery, we will have to place it over here, but there are some vulnerabilities here and so on and so on. On the other hand, if we finish that city, then we might get some vulnerabilities here. So yeah, this move is definitely good, but this is slightly preferable to me. Yes, exactly, Wise May. So these monasteries plus city, they could end up troublesome a little bit in the future. And also, it's actually very nice to set up a coin flip like this. If we go over here, we're down 12 points on the scoreboard. If we get the road monastery to fit here, then not only do we get the 8 points, we also prolong our own monastery, and then these 12 points truly don't mean that much. Nacho here. Oh, what you gonna do? Yeah, that's an unfortunate tile for you that you're forced to kind of help out your opponent's city a little bit, but there was no viable alternative. Black connects to the field. You now maybe try blocking some. Yeah, that's very nice. With the meeple on the road, of course. Black immediately terminates. Said road gets 2 points extra for his own, and of course 10 points for the city, and black is almost equalized on the scoreboard. Yeah, so Nacho now, I think it's a slight, well, that's interesting. Is that, I think it's a slight mistake, actually. Yeah, it's just better to take the more restricted city cap, because there's some moves that could harm you quite a bit. So if black draws this tile or the starting tile, black could now take points for the top city cap, which would not have been possible had you meeple the top city cap yourself. And black would do that in such a way that also eliminates the use of this tile as a field connection platform. And since you're behind on the field as blue, in the field fight that, by the way, you started, then you need the field connection platform. So if you take this city cap yourself at the top, then not only you make sure that your opponent is less likely to meeple the other city cap, but also you guarantee yourself a field connection platform on the next move. On the other hand, if your opponent uses the field connection platform, then your condition becomes a bit more flexible. Maybe if you draw a bunch of monasteries, you can even win without the field whatsoever, given that you're still ahead on the scoreboard. Now, fantastic draw here for black, a monastery tile. Interesting where to put this. I can see 3 options, so we should definitely not go over here. It is only 7 points instead of 8 points over here. It leaves back a road. But the 3 options that I see is going over here and setting up yet another monastery here, or going over here, setting up a road and then a monastery. Now, between these options, this is the lowest variance and also the best immediate value. I would just go for this. I think with just 8 points behind on the scoreboard as black, we're doing just fine. This square is completely unblockable. You know, the worst that blue can do is maybe get something like a giraffe's neck tile and Ukraine technique, these monasteries, but even if you're forced to finish blue city, you're doing just fine. So let's see what black does here. Ah, yes, so 30 is too risky because of crossing. Yes, so just wanted to address this. So if you place this monastery like this, and the idea, of course, is to get a straight line for 3 extra points for the road, and then the 9-point monastery. There's, of course, the chance that if blue gets a crossroads, blue could score 2 points, and then leave only one square, then leave basically this monastery-shaped hole where only one road monastery would fit. Normally, flips are nice if they're next to your monastery, but since you have 50% chance of recovering 2 meeples, it's the same as having a 100% chance of recovering 0 meeples, basically, of losing 1 meeple. So 50% chance of losing 1 meeple in the long run is kind of the same as 100% chance of losing 1 meeple. So not something I would do, and that's why black goes... Okay, so black goes for the... so black goes for the ultimate risky placement, and now I think we see where this is going. I think that's probably what's going to decide the game. I'm just going to assume that blue ended up drawing the road monastery, but let's see how this game goes. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised that black did this. There was no necessity in this position. By the way, this move has an extra damage because if this square is not filled, this farmer is not making it into this main field because this square could also get blocked. And even if this square doesn't get blocked, yeah, like, even if black does get his 3rd monastery and get the boatload of points here, there are some scenarios where black still loses because during the temporary meeple majority, it's more than enough time to get a stronghold on the main field as blue here. Yeah, so I do believe that this monastery here is just unnecessary risk. Yeah, and this is already forces black into making some concessions. So black is just simply protecting his entry square and on the other side, which probably I would not have done. I think there were some better uses for the curve, because now what's going to happen, well, I guess blue is going to take 2 quick points over here just to mess this road, but with the next tile like this, blue can go over here and actually meeple this road himself, or maybe get a curve and get a 6-point loop even. So let's see what blue does. Yeah, blue just first of all takes the 2 points and disrupts black's road. Yeah, you do take the quick points, setting up another platform. Then, is it time to farm? I think it could be time to farm with this tile. You know, yeah, because we don't want, as blue, we don't want black to draw a curve and eliminate this field connection platform. So shield, no shield, doesn't matter. Just use the platform, drop a farmer, pick up the city later if you can. If you can't, no big deal. Yeah, because you see, now we can see the full displeasure of playing with a meeple minority, even if it's temporary. So now we're forced to leave these juicy cities lying around, and as blue, we will be picking them up in no time. Now a fantastic tile for blue, 6-point monastery, connection to the field. And blue will now take the new city. Yeah, that's very nice. It's very difficult for black to attack. Black is now taking a new monastery, but remaining with even a lesser number of meeples. Blue's probably going to develop the city, although it's also tempting to go here and meeple a road here. But I think the city is slightly preferable simply because the threat of finishing it super, super nice. Also, what's very nice about that city is that it's particularly a horse tile, rather a cow tile. So there's a road and a road and a road here. So it's only possible to create attacking squares against the city by using a road tile. So it's slightly harder than usual. For example, with Doritos or with regular city caps, it's not possible to start disrupting the city. You need to wait specifically for a road tile and then start creating problems for blue. So blue is alarmingly likely to finish that city. But not now, as blue will be continuing his monastery. Yep, that's exactly what we want as blue. Black should be efficient here. As black, I would actually not connect to the farm just yet. Because first of all, as black, I'm still hoping for the monastery. And the idea is I kind of want to wait for the monastery. And then if I absolutely have to, then I spend the curve here. So candidate moves for black includes going over here, trying to disrupt the city, or going over here, developing this other monastery and also disrupting blue's road at the same time. Also going over here, building up the monastery is fine. Going over here, disrupting blue's monastery also works, so one of these moves should be chosen. And yeah, this is an extremely poor move. There's still 6 tiles that allow connection to the city, to the field. Like, it has no urgency whatsoever. So it's an extremely inefficient use of tiles. And it also gives back chances for a 5-point road for your opponent. And where you need the curve in so many other places which are much more time sensitive. This square, this square, this square, and so this, of course, is a big mistake. It looks like normal, so the move does accomplish something, but it's really more counterproductive than it is productive. Yeah, so blue now continue his city, but actually I think it's a slight misstep. I think continuing the city over here is a little bit better, just to not allow black creating an attacking platform of tempo, because like what black can do in his next move, black can do what black should have done. Black can go over here and not only create an attacking platform against the city, but also add 1 point to himself, to his road. If we place this Dorito tile over here, the next time black wants to create an attacking platform against the city, black needs to go here. So kind of spend a tile without getting the extra point. Maybe you didn't place this tile over here as blue because you didn't want black to continue his road like this. That's understandable. But like, if you get to finish your city, this extra point for this extra road point is completely inconsequential. And also this is exactly what I told you. So black very nicely continues his road, also creates an attacking platform. Pretty much one of the worst possible tiles in the deck for you. You have no productive moves. The only move that you can make is hurt you. This move over here gets you immediately blocked. This move over here makes it easy to get blocked. This move over here makes it harder for you to continue your city or finish your city, but maybe I'd do it anyway. Just because like you're gonna attack here anyway, so you might as well start building this city up. And you're guaranteed the 2 immediate points. So I'd probably go here. And you go at the top, which is also understandable, but it does disrupt the integrity of your monastery a little bit. Yeah, and it does allow blue a swift attack, and look at that, blue immediately gets his way and connects to your city, so that's a stroke of good fortune here, but also some nice fortune for you as you get the monastery. So black is getting punished for his greed. And the unnecessary greed, that's the main problem. And you're probably thinking either to finish your road and start a monastery, or just to take these 5 road points straight up. Really not sure what is preferable here. Yeah, you just go straight for the 5 road points. Maybe because blue can still has the chance to connect his short road with this guy's long road. And at this point, the situation should be extremely difficult for black. So I guess the chances for black are as follows. Black needs to get a meeple back ASAP. And then black needs to find a way to attack the field, connect to the field, win the field, and then just close all the other attacking spots. So that's something that you can still do sometimes. If you have a meeple minority, but you still need to fight for the field, there's still a way to win this field if you just control the axis squares really, really well. So it does require some good board vision, but of course I'm going to see a monastery move on the top. Yes, starting a 7-point city, of course you have to meeple this, even if it's your last meeple. Yeah, and look at you, you nasty, trying to connect to Black's road. Getting now quick points. Now Black should definitely... Yeah, wait, what should Black do? I guess just going here is fine. Trying to draw... Well, one of the still surprisingly many road plus city tiles. Yeah, probably we need to do this as Black. And this is exactly what Black does. Just trying to finish the monastery soon. Now maybe as Black we could go here. And surprisingly still keep open the threat of finishing this city. That's another way of winning this game. Yeah, but he does this, which could work, but I don't like it. The reason why I don't like it is because it opens up an attacking platform against this city. Yeah, I just massively dislike this move. And when Big Nacho was ahead 19 points, like all blue wants to do here is control the flow of the game, and invading this city is very nice. There's still 2 tiles to connect over here and finish his monastery. Also, the reason why I don't like it actually makes it much harder to threaten to complete the city. Still a bunch of curves remaining, so with any curve you can go over here. Almost blocking the square, allowing all the 2 tiles that fit there, and reopening a platform to block this square, which would be just completely critical. So, yeah, of course, this move was far superior. It still keeps the chances of actually completing the city, and also doing so in such an efficient way that would build around at the north first, and then place a tile in this square last. So not even freeing up blue's monastery meeple before it completely needs freeing up. And of course, it's just much more safe for this square. Mr. Nacho here with more quick points at the bottom. And this is what I presume. So now Black will continue his city at the left. Blue connects the roads. Black sadly is forced to simply invest into the shared road. Blue, of course, will not go over here. Maybe as Blue is kind of cautious to start invading this ruin. Even though Blue could get blocked very easily, just investing 1 meeple seems like totally worth it. Yeah, this is exactly what Blue does. Black gets his monastery meeple back. Blue connects to the ruin, and extremely difficult situation for Black here. So let's say -14 on the scoreboard, equal field, equal long road, equal monasteries, and this is a 7-point monastery versus a 2-point road, so 5 point extra. So 9 points behind is the Spaniard. How can we win this game regardless? So option 1 that I see, I think the immediate tactical move is that we shorten our scoreboard lead. I count the caps, I see that there are 5 city caps still remaining with a road tile. It's just so unlikely we need to use this. We need to go here and hope to draw a city cap in the next move to get 6 points. So that's really nice. And then after that, we'll be just kind of waiting, and then we'll be hoping to attack the big field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21 points. That should be enough to seal the deal. And the reason why I like these 6 points a lot is because with these 6 points, you can also make your win condition a little bit flexible. Maybe in some scenarios, it's actually enough for you to attack this ruin. If we attack this ruin right now, it won't be enough. because, so let's say we will be making more than 9 points in the short term. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We'll be actually making like 16 points. But it's rather a wet board. So blue has plenty of chances to use his meeples in a way that gives him more value than just 9 points. I mean, it's possible you could try this, but with 16 tiles remaining, like, typically it doesn't work. Like, blue will find a way to win this, either by simply outscoring your ruin, or just finding a counter threat, like attacking the main field himself, or, you know, doing something about this. So black decide, yeah, black goes straight for the ruin. I disagree with that. I think it's just a bit too desperate too soon. Like, think about 9 points behind. We go here. We finish the city. And then we're just 3 points behind. Like, and then anything could happen. Yeah, I really like this move from blue, because it's obviously trying to sneak into this road, which you immediately try to prevent. Yeah, but here's the thing. Blue now can go one of two approaches. Blue can try equalize this ruin, but what's much better is just simply scoring 2 points. Maybe here, actually. Yeah, that's even better. And then getting some more quick points to make sure that his lead is enough. Yeah, so he gets the 2 points here, which actually is a mistake. It was way, way, way better to get 2 points in a different place, which keeps the city cap open, because obviously black now draws this city cap. But if blue were to draw the city cap, then on the next move, blue would not be able to take advantage of this city cap lying around. Yeah, so really, this just shows you how different one's thinking should be, depending on the number of meeples in your opponent's hand. In a normal 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 situation, of course this move is better because it takes the 2 points and it blocks the empty city cap. But when your opponent doesn't have meeples, it's better to do the exact opposite. It's better to leave as many empty city caps, as many unclosed roads, as many monastery spots as possible in empty spaces, because you're the only one that can take advantage of them. So that's quite a sizable mistake actually here by blue. Black simply expands his city. Yeah, blue now tries blocking. Black now needs really to think hard what to do here. Probably just dump this tile somewhere. Yeah, that's an option. And of course you draw the last blocking tile. So, and with that, the game is over. It would have been interesting to see what would happen had black actually managed to connect. Yeah, and blue just keeps dumping city caps. So it doesn't really matter exactly what's going to happen. And yeah, blue gets to score some extra points, which was preventable, by the way, from... Yeah, blue gets to score some even more points, drop a farmer. And I think this wins this game quite sizably. Alright, that was actually a surprisingly interesting game, because I thought it wouldn't be just looking at the score, because the score difference will be quite significant in favor of blue here, but there were many, many things, and tables were turning multiple times. So the shared field ends up being 21 points. And 19 points extra is the difference. Yeah, so this means, this is why I didn't like this move. This means that even if blue weren't lucky enough to draw the last blocking tile, if black were to connect, black would gain like 16 extra. Okay, well, maybe like a couple more points with city tiles away. Then blue would still have scoring tiles enough to still win. So the only tactical move which have a strong disagreement is this over here, like breaking 2 city caps. This actually really puts the game in jeopardy, because imagine this situation. Let's say your opponent connects to the city, that's like 15, 16 extra. And if they don't make mistake with this city cap, because what black did here, well, obviously they did that already because the game was over at that point. They dropped a city cap in a place where the city cap could be taken. And blue took advantage from these extra 4 points. Whereas, of course, what they should have done is just added the city cap to the shared city, making it sure that nobody can take it. They were thinking that they were blocking this square, but at that point there were no city caps remaining that fit here, so there wasn't any point in blocking that square at all. So then, actually, blue would not be getting any quick points from this city cap, and blue blocked 2 city caps for himself, and this actually could turn into a disaster quite easily. So yeah, going at the start of the game, some really nice city caps for blue, then a farmer at the start, which I didn't like because it just created a field so high stakes that made the scoreboard lead that you had irrelevant. So it's not that big fields are bad. Big fields are not bad. It's just big fields favor either the side that's first on the field, either the side that has a long-term meeple majority if it is one, or, with all things being equal, the side that's slightly behind on the scoreboard, which in case was black. Yeah, because this could have backfired really easily. I think what's really defined the game was this unnecessary risky monastery. By just placing over here, black would have been doing just fine, finished 2 monasteries, and then as a happy person with 2 extra meeples and 4 extra points on the scoreboard, probably proceeded to win this game. Then, but once blue lost his meeples, it's very nice how once black lost his meeples, blue controlled this game very, very nicely, invaded the ruin at the top despite the risk of getting blocked, forced black to spend his last meeple, and then ended up trapping black's last meeple on the ruin still, and making it sure that black would not be able to drop a meeple to attack the farm, or to score quick points, or do something else. And then, of course, this is just the one tactical miss that I have an issue with, and some things from black side that I have already mentioned. Alright, thank you, Daniel, for confirming that the second game is indeed a no-show, so we're gonna leave the score at 0-0 on the scoreboard. So, an unpredictably short stream today, first of all, because unfortunately I was not able to come home, had to complete a couple of unpredictable things, and then the other shortening due to other player not coming. Hopefully everything's all right with Vladimir from Chile, and we'll be looking to transmit that match soon enough. Hopefully got something out of this analysis. Make sure to like this video for the algorithm if you did. Yes, I mean, of course, we can, in theory, make the analysis streams endless, but we still need some breaks, because there's a lot of Carcassonne tomorrow. First of all, let's just go again to here and review the result. Oh, wow, that was really interesting. Kai Michishita versus Santiago Iniguez. I would have loved to stream that one, but not possible. Crocodile Fundy of United States barely defeating the online vice champion of Croatia, Buha 4-4, who still have chance to survive. And obviously, we just saw how Locoello won against Ignacio here eliminating him from the qualification 3, sadly, and a no-show for the most anticlimactic finish of the day possible. But tomorrow, ain't a chance I'm waking up this early for the first game, so whatever happens between Ezitakudo Traps of Japan and Siegfried of Hungary is solely between them and those of you who are what's the English word for that? Larks? How do you call like an early bird? All right, then. Ooh, that's interesting, actually. You know what? I think that we might have. Well, okay, I will need to make a decision here. Because it looks like we're having a match every hour. Could I possibly stomach making a 5-hour stream? I'm gonna think about that. Yeah, because the timing looks great. I mean, I'm definitely streaming that one. And then everything looks so enticing. So we have Moldova versus Catalonia. We have Malaysia versus Belgium. And we have Hungary versus Czech Republic. And we have the United States versus Hungary. That is so interesting. But the thing is, like, this is not all. At 21 UTC, we have the main event of the day, which is the final of the Brazilian Team Carcassonne Championship. So yes, there are events going on which aren't the Champions League. That's why it's interesting. The final between the team Comuna and Team Pangea. It should be quite entertaining. So yeah, I'm kind of inclined that I think I'm going to do it. It is 5 matches and it is probably a 6-hour stream, but you know, how often do we have weekends like this? So yeah, 99%, 90% that I'm doing it. You're gonna see an announcement shortly. Whoa, Daniel is saying that we might play in 30 minutes. In which case, I'd be absolutely happy to stay for that. I kind of want to know if it's like might or will. If you gotta play, then I think we could take a break. If we're not sure, I think we just analyze one more game. And thus just have a slightly longer stream. So I'm going to start by simply taking a 2-minute break and getting some hot beverages. And probably going to do, we'll analyze one game from earlier today. What I'd like you to do let me know if there's any like particular game that you're interested, either this match or this match or this match maybe. And then whatever's y'all's preference, we're going to do that. Oh, also, yeah, Devaka won against LSC. That must have been an interesting match. Sadly, I was not able to follow any of those. So yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes. In the meantime, do let me know in the comments if there's one more game that you want to see analyzed, and if so, which particular game that would be. thank you, Daniel, for confirming that the match is indeed happening. Apparently, Vladimir just woke up. Wait, okay, I need to know this. So what time it is in Chile? Okay, time in Chile. Time. It has to be 2 p.m., right? It should be UTC -4, I believe. Oh. Oh, so it's UTC -3. So it's even later. Okay. Sure. So just to double check, we're starting the game at 15:30 Chile time, 18:30 UTC. Like, they're not gonna fall asleep again. Let me actually also check this. Is Mexico the same time zone? Wait. I did not expect there to be such a big difference. Let me think about this. Mexico. Is really South America this further to the right than North America? Because like Mexico is a bit more to the left, but on the map it looks just only a slight difference. Yeah, so 10 a.m. in Seattle. I know that there's a big difference between... Well, there's quite a difference between East Coast and West Coast of the United States. But kind of like North America generally looks wider than South America. Okay, wait. I need to have this... I need to look... need to look at the map. Yeah, wow, there's such a huge difference. North America is way west than South America. So Chile is basically like the east coast of the United States. I kind of always thought that like Brazil was aligned with the east coast of the United States, but it isn't. So that's where it was. So like here's São Paulo. Yeah, and São Paulo aligned with like Iceland. Huh. That's fun. Yeah, so that explains why there's only a 3-hour difference between most of South America and the United Kingdom. Hey, we're like way closer than I thought. It's still a massively long flight for some reason. But I guess the flight takes a longer time on the vertical rather than the horizontal dimension. Okay, why is Chile UTC -3 when UTC US East is UTC -5? Yes, it is -5. Could have something to do with daylight saving time, I believe. Because I think normally it's -4, so that sort of slightly exacerbates the difference. Yeah, like some of these time zones are convention as well, because maybe like the easternmost point is wait, but MS stands for Nova Scotia, which is Canada, so that's not even the United States. And I'm not sure, like maybe the time zones of South American countries have to do something with other South American countries as well. Because, like, it was unexpected to me that Chile is the same time zone as Brazil. Like, it really does not look the same. I mean, for example, here, like, and here, or even just São Paulo and Chile, they're far enough apart to be in different time zones. Yeah, so there probably are not just light, but there are also political reasons as well. So if we have any Chileans in the chat, I'd be curious to know why this might be the case. But we will be spending the next 20 minutes analyzing a game. And I think the game that I would prefer, unless we have strong objections, would be One of the games between Setsugentou and Santiblader, Kai Michishita of Japan, former Japanese champion, and Santiago Iniguez. So two very, very strong players. In fact, Setsugentou, I believe, was the first master whom I ever played in Board Game Arena. At the time, he was rated like 770 or something like really ridiculous. All right, so let's have a look at their decider. Oh, that's interesting. So first of all, Setsugentou won, then Santiblader won like plus 40, and then the last game was really, really close. All right, so let's look at this from Santiblader's perspective, and that's only because I know for a fact that he uses the old design, which is much easier to see. Yeah, game 3 already. So we have 20 minutes, so we're going to try and be relatively quicker than usual. Wait. Oh, also, I really like how Board Game Arena they really don't care about privacy. Because obviously you can see your opponent's settings, you can see who uses which art, and you can see who uses which language, which is also a common way to figure out secondary accounts, because like whenever there's a weird account with a new name that suddenly gets to 700, you can kind of look at the language that they're using and assume the country of origin from there. So natural moves some far at the start. Green starts a new city at the same time prolonging his road, at the same time restricting Red's road. Red's, yeah, makes an interesting move. I kind of like that. I really like that. So taking 2 points and setting up another city for themselves. Quite a counterintuitive move, but actually the most efficient possibility that exists in this position. Because another idea was to simply go over here and maybe turn the city cap upwards, actually, to try and set up finishing the road with a curve, but then that would leave a city cap open over here, and that's just not something that the Japanese player wanted to do. Thank you, Dale, for confirming that Chile, Argentina, and the eastern half of Brazil share the same time zone. I wonder if that's a decision that they came to independently, or if that's actually something that they agreed on as 3 countries. Because you certainly, I didn't used to think of Chile as close to the eastern part of Brazil. Alrighty, so yeah, so green takes quick points, tries to put pressure on the square a little bit. Red equalizes the city cap. Green just keeps blocking. Although a move that I might have preferred is just going over here. I'm not sure if that's worth... Yeah, I probably would have liked to just go here and start a new road as green. And the reason why I like this is because it gives us so much more opportunities. It actually puts a lot of pressure on the square and sets up some opportunities to get a splitter, free up our meeple, and then trap this red guy. Or even this move would also be okay. It would make this square more vulnerable, but it would put pressure on this square. And more importantly, I really like taking out the one road end remaining. Because if we go here and red draws something like a quadruple crossroad tiles, or even just a regular crossroads, then red cannot take 2 easy points. And in fact, if we go here, then actually red is forced to finish our road. So at the start of the game, I like to be more aggressive with meeple. It sometimes can involve opening 2, sometimes 3 roads. And yeah, it can really... restrict your opponent's options. So red continues his stuff. We get our monastery. Of course, we have to meeple it. Yeah, and our block proves to be not effective as red successfully manages to combat that by protecting this square. We probably will be building up our... not yet. Okay, that's interesting, actually. So we're wanting to make this square a little bit more vulnerable. There's some downsides how this square could suffer a little bit. Yeah, now... Not sure I quite fully understand this move by red. I think it's simply for the lack of a better move. Now we meeple that road, which I should have done a while ago, I believe. Red gets his meeple back, and what do we do? I think we can be a bit patient. Maybe just starting a new city over here is okay. Let's see what the Argentinian does here. Yeah, I really like this idea because we can actually get a big tile, which we do in the next term, and then try to control this square as well. So there are many positive scenarios how the city could develop. The Japanese players should go here now, probably start a new city themselves. And they do. Dropping a farmer is also fine there, by the way. Yeah, this move, not sure how I feel about this. I would have probably preferred going here. Yeah, because, I don't know, going here could just get you trapped very often. And there are also some scenarios how red could go here and even take over the city with 2 meeples. There's some scenarios how red could simply drop a nice farmer here, block one of these squares. Yeah, probably I prefer to play it slightly safer, to play it over here. That would help red with this road. But the thing is, after red placed a tile over here, red actually made the block of the square almost impossible, because the only way how we could have blocked the square is by drawing the last remaining barbed wire tile, placing it over here, and making sure that red needs a barbed wire tile himself. We're probably much better off going over here, and if we do go over here, we still have the threat of completing that city, by the way. And if red connects to our city, that's okay, because then red is forced to use a very nice city tile for the sake of continuing his road. If we want, there's some scenarios how we get a curvy tile and we try to place it here and equalize the road, connect through here, through the road Dorito. So there's just more good stuff that could happen to us if we place this city tile over here. Now, we're pretty much hoping for an early Dorito, but even if we get our early Dorito and we push this guy a little bit away, then red can always get a Dorito of their own and equalize their city. There's still 5 row Doritos remaining, so yeah, it does look like quite a serious mistake here by green, who now finishes his road. Black connects the 2 cities. Green now gets... Well, first of all, red finishes his own city. Green gets a tile which he needs in multiple places. Probably this one I'm surprised. And I don't particularly agree with that. I think going here was more important, freeing up the road and still having a chance to draw a bunch of Doritos. Yeah, because I don't know. It's just you know, there's one really annoying move that red could make: getting a Dorito with the road, dropping a 9-point farmer, leaving a 50-50 chance here for us to finish the city. And this could even happen sometimes, like after this last cow tile is drawn, because the fact that there's only 3 of those, it's getting really, really dicey here. I also don't like opening these 2 platforms to connect. I also don't like leaving this road open for too long. Yeah, I just don't agree with this prioritization one bit. So red takes advantage of the connection platform. We get a lovely monastery at the expense of accidentally prolonging red's road. Red starts blocking our road, which we fully deserve as green. Not a great tile for green. Red connects to the city, and now we'll try to use his meeple majority to abuse green city. Green with a straight line simply builds up his monastery and drops a farmer, but not yet, interestingly. So it doesn't drop a farmer yet. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because just green is very short on meeples, which is why I know should have freed up this road earlier. But okay, red connects to the ruin. Now we really have to free up our road, and we do that without a farmer yet because still all this road could be separated with the barbed wire tile. Japan starting a new monastery. And now we're in a bit of a pickle. So we're about to lose the big city that we started to build, all because of creating this invasion platform that we so kindly provided to our opponent. So what could we do? Maybe going here, maybe going over here, dropping a farmer is an option. Yeah, actually I really like this move because it drops a city cap into our field. Still leaves a good chance to finish both monasteries. Don't really see anything better. Just starting a new city, yeah, I guess that's fine. I think it's just not it. Yeah, okay, that's doable, but it's just not that strong. You see, because our opponent now drops a farmer. I feel that this field is actually really sensitive. It will be worth 9 points once a tile is gone here, possibly 12 points if that's a city cap that goes here. And then very limited chances to reinvade that field. But we do get a city tile. By the way, had green been watching this analysis with the time machine, and had they listened to my advice and placed over here, they would have already had an extra city. They would have had 3 cities in this farm, 2 almost completed monasteries, but they don't. Ooh, what a great move from red. Such an annoying block against this. But by the way, this also would not have been possible because had we had a farmer over here, then red would not have dropped a city cap into our field. So yeah, well, we should be... I'm not sure what we should be doing. Maybe meepling a 6-point monastery at the top is an option. Maybe going over here to protect this square a little bit, because we can still finish both monasteries by getting a curve plus a regular city cap. Really not sure what to do here, just want to see. Yeah, so we just continue our monastery, which makes some sense. We are making a vulnerable square here, but that's perfectly okay because it will be blocking red's road in addition to blocking our own city. So probably just a 1 monastery point for red. That makes sense. Now we get to pre-finish our monastery here and still preserve the chance to draw one of the 2 city caps that fit here. Now, some interesting tactic as red. A move that I'd love here is something like this. Setting up an 8-point city next to our monastery, and one that also gives our meeple back. If we had more meeples, we could maybe go here and meeple this city, kind of not allowing black to get easy access to a city cap and take advantage for it. But we don't have many meeples, so I believe this move would be the strongest. It has some downsides, but I'm not sure about that one. It does seem to add a lot of volatility in the position. I'm not sure if that's necessary because red's position is great. Red still is super likely to have the majority on this ruin, then we can start protecting it. Red will be getting some extra stuff here. Red has the control of the main field. And what this move does, it sets up a huge coin flip for 9 points over here, which benefits the side that is behind and that is not us. And it creates some easy farming opportunities for our opponents. So green goes here, takes some quick points. Green goes here, finishes a city, then just green takes a curve, drops a farmer, connect either through a road monastery or through this square or through this square, and the field is equal, and then our position is not that good. Yeah, this is... I mean, it works in the short term, but I think it's a bit of a... It might be a bit of a mistake from green. The reason I'm not a huge fan of this move is because there are still 3 tiles that fit here. So it's not that much of a block as much as it is a delay. The delay is still good, it still works. And maybe if we get a couple of extra tiles and we block that square, then that could be justified. Now, I guess that's an okay move. But probably what I would have preferred instead is just leaving this alone and going here to simply make sure that if we get a road monastery, then we can immediately free up our monastery over here. So just to pre-complete it. Actually, let me do something first. Let me just take this and copy the link and just send this to a couple of chats to advertise, because it's wasn't common knowledge that the match was rescheduled. So Daniel Ayala of Spain. Wait, no, sorry, of Mexico, of course. Versus Vladimir of Chile. Yeah, there we go. All right, back to this. Yeah, so some quick points that our opponents can take advantage anyway. Now also our square here is vulnerable. So that's not great, but we continue our city on the right to get some quick points. Yeah, and now finally Setsugentou. Well, what should he do actually? Connect to the city? I think connecting to the city is more important. No, oh yeah, taking control of the field, of course. Now, after this is completed, this field doesn't have proper entry squares. I mean, how annoying is that if you are green? So maybe as green, actually, maybe you just wait on the city a little bit. And a move that I really like for green now is actually going over here and dropping a farmer. Oh, I think this could be a real beauty here. Because look at this. We go here. We drop a farmer, and once we connect, we will be creating a blocking platform against this monastery over here. Also, by going over here with a city cap rather than a Dorito tile or something else, we will be pre-building a 6-point city which only we can claim, because there's only 1 tile that fits over here, and then if we are lucky enough to get this, then we'll be getting not only 9 points for this monastery, but also 6 points for this city. So certainly a nice 15-point setup. And then there will be 2 high-scoring points on the board, and we can benefit from 2 of these spots, whereas our opponent can benefit only 1. And also, this field is getting closed quickly enough that we need to get in on that a little bit early. But green simply finishes the city, which I believe is a miss. Red continues what's going to be Red City, but it's a move that I actually disagree with. I think stronger is to go over here and block the square, because the city could still be reinvaded, and this opens actually a nice reinvasion platform from here. There are still plenty Doritos with the road, and you really don't want to be opening reinvasion platforms when your opponent has more meeples than you. Because this move, it benefits more... Yeah, it benefits just green more than it benefits red. Also opens up a monastery spot that benefits green rather than red, because green's the side with the meeples. And also it does so that there are now actually 2 instead of 1 platforms to reconnect. So I think it's just another... Yeah, it's definitely a mistake, this move. So of course, the very nice 9-point move by green. Taking the monastery, giving the road meeple back, now leaving this meeple with some chances of getting blocked. So that's why I really like the idea of pre-finishing this monastery a little bit earlier, but you know, we can still get this meeple back a little bit later. Yeah, so now, of course, Setsugentou takes care of the blocking platform that he himself created. We get, again, so that's why it was a good idea to pre-finish this early. Instead of getting 3 quick points, now because we're so scared of blocking, which I think we shouldn't be, as green, we just spend a crossroad tile and getting a meeple back. And we also leave an easy road to be scored. Yeah, I think this move is just too scared. 3 points are just better. Like, they could end up matching it, and judging by the result of this game, I think they did. Also, with 3 meeples in hand, you don't really need the meeple that urgently. And also, you need to realize that there was actually no good way to block the square, because even with a cow tile or something like this, that would still leave 2 dagger tiles that fit into that square, and also all the city tiles that would be the damaging blocking tiles, well, they are needed here. I guess maybe the concern is that there are no more straight lines remaining, but even with no more straight lines remaining, there's still this and this and this. So there was no way to block that square, so it seems to me like a waste of 3 points. So 2 quick points for red. And now green might meeple the farm on the right or not yet. Yeah, green reopens a reconnection platform to the city, which will be immediately shut down, of course. So that city is a big, big problem. Green keeps getting curves. All right, Daniel. So good luck in your match. We will join your match in just a minute. I think what we're going to do, we're going to pause the analysis for a second as Santiblader tries to quite desperately to do something about this city. We're going to pause the analysis for a second, then we're going to come back to this after Daniel's match, just because you know, the live stream takes precedence. So Santiblader versus Setsugentou, that's the mid-game position. I'm going to come back to that. And now finally, the long-awaited semifinal of the lower bracket of Qualification 1, where Daniel Ayala and This Is vegancl of Chile will be fighting for their tournament life in Qualification 1. Maybe let's just have a look at the bracket real quick. So there was an exciting match between Daniel Ayala and Miami of Germany that some of you witnessed, which Daniel lost 1-2. That's how he ended up in the losing bracket. In the meantime, the Chilean did defeat the Frenchman Blitz 2-1, but lost 1-2 against Ilyas Lanimsky of Israel in the second round, ending up over here. Daniel Ayala in the losers bracket managed to squeeze by Prichi of Poland, and this brings us here. So whoever wins will be playing against Miami, who lost a couple of days earlier against Lord Terrycloth of the UK, so pretty sure that Daniel will be motivated to get himself a right for a rematch. And of course, whoever loses today will be out of this tournament, because in the double elimination format, you only get the right to lose one game, which both of these players, one match rather, which both of these players have already used. All right, and away we go, as it is the Mexican player to start first. With a quadruple city tile, immediately another shielded tile in response for the Chilean, who's playing red. Daniel is playing his traditional blue. The first road match, road tile for Vladimir. will need to meeplets. No, he chooses to simply create a blocking platform, but against whom? That's the question. It's an attacking platform against Blue City, but it's also an attacking platform against his own city. So I remember I read the Carcassonne strategy guide created for newer players by Carcassonne.cat in Catalan, and I remember that El formação é muito perigosa, or something like this. Basically, the L formation, it's very dangerous when you have a city like there, and then this thing. So with a straight line and another Dorito tile, this poor meeple could get blocked. In the opening, generally everything that's dangerous is less dangerous, just because there are so many tile options still available to bail you out. But it's not necessarily obvious that this move benefits red that much, and we can see that red finally managed to get into the city, but also, you know, it's quite conditional. If blue draws a Dorito tile, or especially a triple city tile, blue can go over here with a triple city, block the square because the quadruple city has already gone out, keep this red meeple stranded for just 1 point, whilst this blue meeple will be able to expand this rune endlessly to 12 points and more. And even with just a Dorito, a nice mini battle with 8 city points versus just 1 will be available. But this is not going to happen right now, and I believe, as Mr. Vegan here, it's absolutely worth to spend this tile to kind of keep the option away. But as Daniel here, I would have really loved a move like this. Okay, both players playing quite fast. The first monastery belongs to Daniel, so definitely slight advantage here. Each side has an 8-point city waiting to happen. Mr. Vegan here should probably go over here, start another 8-point city, take care of an empty city caps, and also take away the threats of somebody going over here, drawing a couple of Doritos, and overrunning the city from the left. Road tile for Daniel, a couple of good uses. Maybe going over here with the farm already is a nice idea, building up his monastery, you know, making sure that no blocking opportunities are available to his monastery, restricting the city cap a little bit. Another greedy move is possible going over here, starting a road. Also, this starting a road is really nice. Yeah, that's probably even better. Not allowing red to have easy uses for a crossroads. This is Vegan CL is saying thank you for waiting me, because we know that at least allegedly Vladimir woke up very recently and actually missed his first match starting time. Luckily, the format of the tournament is quite generous and understanding to situations like this, so this wasn't an automatic loss, and a quick rescheduling was available. So now blue continues his monastery. I would have loved that move with the farmer, actually. Because, yeah, like, there's just no point in waiting. A farmer now. Because, like, a tile will go here. These cities, or most of them, will be completed. Okay, maybe now. Go here. No. Now we go here, I think. And try to attack. Yeah, with a meeple. That's all, of course, very nice. Because this field will end up mattering no matter what. So red decides to close blue's monastery for the sake of continuing his city. I don't think it's worth it. The reason I'm not a huge fan of this move is because it allows easy re-attacking opportunities. So for example, blue could draw a straight line and then at the same time create attacking platforms on both of these squares. So generally, I don't like moves which only continue my city but complete my opponent's monastery at the same time. Daniel's now going to start a 4-point road and create even more vulnerability against this square. Yeah, so we can see that red now drops a farmer, which I believe blue should have done a bunch of some time ago. Red is trying to invade blue's roads, and I think we're now in a situation where blue, because of blue's block over here, red will be forced to bite the bullet and add a city point to... Wait! Ah, that's interesting. So we can either add a city point to blue and then hope to get one of the 2 dagger tiles, or we can go here and block blue together with ourselves. But what we can't do is do neither. So just ignoring this threat seems like a little bit too much. There's so many tiles in the deck, like regular city caps that go over here, that allow blue to continue his meeple and for us to lose the meeple. Meeple count will be important in this game, and blue simply decides to equalize the road, which honestly is not something I would have done in the first place. This road was just not long enough to justify a sequence like this, and now sadly we see another mistake from yellow. It is a massive, massive waste of a monastery, sadly. The only reasonable move was to go here for 6 points with 3 meeples still in hand, setting up another curve. That was just a fantastic, fantastic opportunity. I guess red wanted to maybe draw a straight line and try to start blocking the square, but it's so not important. Oh, look at this! Red managed to get bailed out by the deck and draw one of the 2 remaining daggers before completing his city, before blue drew one of the many, many, many tiles to block his city. So really, somehow, this city meeple is making out of that situation alive. That doesn't happen very often. And upon his second monastery, now Vladimir won't miss again. He decides that, you know, 6 points wasn't enough, but a 7-point monastery, I ain't missing that. Now an 8-point monastery. Lead on the scoreboard, lead on the early farm. Sure, a slightly better position for red, but it all depends on which tiles are drawn next. So blue now probably going to go over here, trying to maybe block that square and get himself a slightly winning mini battle. And soon enough, blue really hopes to get a city cap, finish the city, drop a farmer, get 6 points on the scoreboard, and equalize the farm. But so let's see what blue chooses to do with this tile. Adding the city at the top seems really the only move that at least I'm capable of generating. Let's see if any additional creativity is offered to us by the Mexican player. Yeah, it just goes to the left. So I prefer the other move. It's kind of the same idea, but with you know, with an extra value. Oh, that's a great move here from Vladimir. Not only starting a new city in his field, but eliminating what is the biggest threat in Carcassonne. Of course, now not allowing this move with a city cap and a field connection platform. And also restricting the 2 cities in a nice way that now in both places Daniel needs a city plus road tile. So now it's an interesting question of prioritization for blue. I think it's better to go here first. That's so that leaves not a great chance to get blocked, but it leaves quite a good chance to be invaded. So maybe blue would prefer to go here after all. Another move that's possible is to go here, but I don't like it because blocking red city is not that useful. Yeah, red actually had the starting tile in hand, so this block wouldn't have worked and wasn't statistically likely given that the 3 starting tiles are still available. Red now has some interesting moves available. Maybe going over here and dropping a second farmer, it's sort of the more classical way of handling things. A more inspired option is maybe leaving the city alone and going actually over here and going for another block. Yeah, so red goes the normal approach, takes the scoreboard lead, takes the field control, has the monasteries. He's probably now be doing very well. Blue will continue his city, which should be the way to go here. There's some risk of getting invaded or blocked, but it's just something that we'll need to live with. Now a bit of a Sophie's choice here. So he can either go over here and complete the city at the top, possibly with a farmer, probably with a farmer, or go over here, leave the city cap restricted, but make sure that red cannot invade. I like blue's choice here, ahead on the scoreboard. Red is now doing very, very well too, finishing his monastery. Red ahead on the scoreboard again. Now setting up another city cap with a third farmer perhaps. As blue, I'd probably go here and still drop a farmer. I think there are not too many opportunities to score, so I probably would prefer to at least give myself a chance to equalize the field, as difficult as it might be. So blue is of course going to go there. The only thing that blue is thinking about is whether to drop a farmer or not. And I really like that blue is thinking about this right now rather than after placing the tile, because he doesn't want to reveal any information to his opponent. I guess blue might still get a bit greedy and go over here, but I don't like keeping two cities open that needs the same tile for closure, especially since the number of such tiles available is slowly dwindling. Yeah, and the reason why actually I prefer a farmer there, because then it absolutely forces a third farmer from red as it completes. As red completes his city. And then in some scenarios we can still keep this main field moderately manageable and maybe not fill that square and win the game with our meeple majorities by scoring elsewhere. Or will we? Because now Daniel will need to make a decision. If we go here, then we're going pretty much all out for the field fight, where we are trailing by 1.5 meeples already. I'm saying 1.5 because, well, we're trailing by 1 meeple, like red has 2 farmers, we have 1, but red will have his 3rd farmer soon enough. Unless we draw a curve or a monastery tile before red draws a city cap. Well, actually, let's just think about a consideration that we should think about it. What's more likely? Us drawing a blocking tile here, or red drawing a city cap first? So as for city caps, let me try to use the RAF method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12 city caps remaining versus 3 monasteries and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1 curve. So only 4 reasonable tiles that fit here. Yeah, and that's why red actually doesn't, blue doesn't even decide to invade in the first place. So blue starts a new road, trying to score a little bit before settling up on his final win condition. Maybe still the dream of keeping the field small could be alive and not having to fight for it, although now you have this platform, so it's probably worth fighting for it. Still 3 monasteries available to connect. Also gives a chance to block red city a little bit. Okay, so he first chooses to connect his farmer at the top, which Ah, that's because we're running out of straight lines that go here. So what this means is that blue realizes that he really needs the field in order to win. And now probably needs to complete the road, or is it time to drop another farmer? That's not obvious. The problem with dropping a farmer here is that Mr. Vegan will immediately go, yeah, or anywhere else. He will immediately use the other platform. For example, he can go here, take this point farm, and not only maintain the +1 majority on the field, which is, by the way, a better and more efficient way of farming than +2 majority, but also really close down farming opportunities. Yeah, so now the monastery is being used by Daniel to score points, but actually this can be blocked. Yeah, so Mr. Vegan now can go here, place the city cap like this, and there will be no dagger tiles remaining that fit into that square. So let's see if the Chilean sees this idea, because look at this. And he does. Wow, what a great find by the Chilean. So this guy's trapped with 8 points. Blue is behind on the field with 1 meeple. Blue is behind on meeples in hand. Blue is behind on the scoreboard. And this field has no easy invasion platforms. Talk about a horrible position. So blue starts a new city, and the goal of this move is to create an invasion platform. Because he wants to get a meeple back, then drop a farmer, and I love this move by Vladimir here, diminishing the number of rodents that fit into this square. So rodents are, of course, crucial because meeple count is crucial. So, for example, if Daniel were to draw something like this, he would not be able to place it over here and recover his 5-point road. Vladimir here just scoring, expanding his scoreboard lead. Daniel with a curve. It's an interesting question. Should we already drop a farmer? Or should we maybe go here to allow ourselves a couple more tiles to recover our road? But the thing is, like, if we go over here, then our opponent immediately goes here and sort of does more blocking against the road. Maybe our best chance is to drop a farmer now and then hope to draw the last remaining crossroads soon enough that we get a meeple back and try to do something else with it. Regardless of what we choose here as blue, our options aren't great. This also happens to be the last curve, which does not help our field farming chances. And it indeed does go for the farmer, but the hopes and dreams of blue will be instantly shattered as red draws the crossroads that Daniel needed. Daniel, tragically, gets a rodent tile, but one that doesn't fit over here. So that's how important this restricting move by red was. So, what are still some blue's chances? I don't believe there are any. Because red can connect to the field. Probably. And I think now blue can connect to the field. No, maybe there are some chances. Maybe. If blue could just connect to the field, and blue can score a couple of extra city points over here, then maybe blue could take advantage of some potential future mistakes by red. Because at the moment, blue has 8 for the monastery, 5 for the road, that's 13. 4-point city versus a 3-point city, that's 1 point extra, that's 14. On the scoreboard, he's -9, he's still +5. If he connects, he's still +5. Now, 5 points, it's the easiest thing to score when you have 2 meeples, and this is what Vladimir has. So probably the move here for Vladimir is just ignore everything and just go over here. Like, take a 4-point ruin or something. Yeah, and just don't try attacking the field. This was a nice move by blue to protect his field entry options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 1 straight road remaining to accomplish that. And of course, the clock is also a factor. I need to remind you that a loss on the clock is a loss completely. Daniel gets a very important move. He finishes a shared city, which allows him to have a meeple. It's an opportunity that actually had overlooked. Now, still, if Daniel were to connect, Daniel will be ahead 1 point. So again, the move here is pretty easy. What Mr. Vegan should do is just very calmly meeple one of these 5-point roads, put himself ahead. Then Daniel's chances would be extremely limited. Maybe he gets a 4-point road and can go over here with a straight line. But that's about it. The worst thing that he can do is start attacking the field. Yeah, he knows this. He knows that he can simply outscore Daniel. Daniel does get the straight line. He will meeple the 4-point road, although he probably needs to know the last tiles or to decide whether it is worthwhile. It is possible that it might be better to just leave this road alone. I don't think it is in that particular instance, because the last 2 tiles are city tiles, if I'm not mistaken. And if they are city tiles, then a scoring move will be available for blue over here. Wait, this is actually unbelievably close. I think after this move, after this road move, we might be completely equal. Yeah, I think we'll be completely equal, and all gonna come down to the last tile. I mean, can blue actually have a chance? That's incredible. Okay, so blue goes here. This 4-point road equals this 4-point city. They cancel each out. This 5-point road equals this 5-point road. Red has extra 9 points on the scoreboard, 8 of which are equalized in the monastery, and 1 point is equalized up north, where blue has a 3-point city versus the 3-point city of red. But red has an extra meeple. So blue goes over here, meeples this road, and then red just meeples anything. Just anything. The most that blue can score after that is either 1 or 2. I believe just 1. Yeah, because there are no shielded tiles remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 shielded tiles, none of them are remaining. So that should do it. And even 5 extra points for Vegan CC, 1 for this city, 4 for this one, and a 4-point difference. Oh, a crossroad tile. I must have missed that. Yeah, so slightly an unfavorable coin flip. But even with that, even with tiles reversed, this tile could have been used over here to score a 3-point field for the Chilean, and this would have been an extra point over here. So just a couple point difference, but a very, very nice field control overall. And indeed, 5 points is the difference. So starting out with a rating upset at the very least, with the Chilean swindling this one away. And I really like what the Chilean did here long term. So it's very nice strategically kind of having the majority on the field, pressing your opponent on meeples, and just scoring, keeping that pressure enough that even once Daniel has successfully joined the field, Red was already just slightly too far ahead. So some tactical imprecisions by Red at some point, so very risky with this city over here, and then sacrificing these monastery points, but then managing to redraw another monastery and make it right, and then drop some very nice farmers. So I think it all comes down. I think it actually all comes down. Let me just correct my setup here a little bit. To being the first on the fields, because Daniel had plenty of chances to meeple this field here, to meeple this field with a couple of other moves, and even though it was worth only 0 points at that time, just because there were so many cities waiting to be finished on this, and so many other few places to build cities in other parts of the boards, that it was already crystal clear at that point that this field would matter. So if anything has decided this game is just simply who was the first on the field, and that was Red, and Red won. So we'll be going now to game 2, where Daniel will be trying to hold on to his tournament life and make a comeback. And this is looking not so great, because the Chilean, who has now the blue meeples, Daniel's now playing black. You see we have 1 blue Chilean meeple on the monastery and 4 Chilean points on the Chilean scoreboard. Black starts a new city, but blue is the one who's ahead. Probably going to go over here, continue his monastery, start a new city. Maybe going over here is actually slightly more precise. That's slightly safer. So let's see how exactly Vladimir handles this. Oh, very nice precision here, starting a new city on the left. Daniel will be adding to some city points himself. 4 on the scoreboard, starting a new one. Not sure why this move wasn't already played 10 seconds ago. I don't know, maybe Daniel wants to scratch his back first, or has some other urgent missions to accomplish. But I don't think it's one that requires thinking. Or maybe his idea is to get creative. And maybe, I don't know, what else can you do with this tile? Go here, drop a farmer. No, that's pretty bad. Or maybe go here, finish your opponent's city, but then create a blocking platform against Blue's monastery. No, that would be horrible. Please don't do that. The more time is being spent, the more slightly nervous I am starting to get. Hopefully that Daniel did not pass out with face first on the keyboard. But you know what? Maybe... Okay, he does this. Yeah. It must be like some psychological thing. He just realized that not being first on the field cost him the game in the previous match, in the previous game of this duel. And so now he decided, you know what, now I'm definitely going to be first on this field. The problem is it's a different map, it's a different situation. Dropping a farmer with a different tile is okay, but it just sacrifices too much equity. Too many immediate points. Like you get, I mean, the 4-point move, it's too much to give up. Now, of course, Black gets bailed out. because he gets a very nice city cap and finds some very nice geometry here. So the idea, of course, is to get one of the 10 Dorito tiles and drop a second farmer, so that would be nice. But in the meantime, blue cleans up the other city cap. Also needs to remind you that it's actually black who helped blue's monastery a little bit. Black now going quite hard here. Whoa, 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 what's that? What's that? Okay, that's quite the mistake, I have to say, by blue. Or at the very least, like, an incredibly risky move. Because what blue needed to do is just to save his city here. Blue's gonna lose 2 meeples. Blue might lose 3 meeples, actually. The reason why blue might lose 3 meeples because this road over here creates a vulnerability over here. So Daniel might actually go here now, start a new road, and leave only 1 tile that fits into that square. Yeah, so I do believe that this unorthodox gamble here from Daniel might pay off, even though in the long term it absolutely shouldn't. Yeah, because this one thing is making about the best move objectively, but one thing is also making moves that force your opponent into an uncomfortable position. So, for example, here, this was also a mistake here by blue. Like, a better move by blue was actually placing the city cap over here, covering up the city, but not creating a vulnerability. Because blue created the blocking platform inadvertently as a side effect of adding the city point over here, black was able to place this tile over here and block blue's square. Blue did draw a tile that would give him monastery meeple back and give him excellent chances for finishing this city too, but it was no longer possible because black had used the platform that blue had created for him to block that square. Or at least to restrict that square at the time. Daniel now equalizes that city, which should be still a relief to blue because the chances of blue of making it out alive of the situation are still pretty good. Blue's gonna finish his monastery. Blue is quite likely to get a couple of curves and finish a 6-point road. And then this farmer, given blue's scoreboard lead after the fact, won't look that impressive at all. The way for the Chilean to proceed now is to go over here, putting... Not here. I mean, it's just starting a new city. It's fine. It's okay. But in Carcassonne, in competitive Carcassonne, you don't want okay. You want the best. And the best move was to go here. That would accomplish a variety of purposes. It would put a bit of pressure on this square. It would create some scenarios of drawing a Dorito and an extender and overrunning the big city with 20 points. And now blue manages to get a nice defense. They're probably going to even drop a farmer. Yeah, I'd drop a farmer. Oh, but the road meeple is a massive, massive mistake. Like, it's just... It's... Well, we'll get to that in a second. There's no point in meepling this road because if black gets the Dorito tile that goes over here, black's not gonna necessarily put this tile here because black does not want to complete blue's monastery. But in case black does put this tile over here and does take the 4 points, well, then it still benefits blue because 4 points is enough of a price. It's a good price to get your meeple back sooner. What this move does, it's just traps a meeple for a long time or for whatever time it takes until we actually draw the road tile or the Dorito tile without any extra value for it. So that's a serious, serious error, and depending on how long it takes Mr. Vegan here to draw the Dorito tile, we'll see how heavy the price is. Yeah, the reason why, of course, this move is so much better without the meeple here is that there are still plenty of scenarios how blue can win, even in those cases, even in those 12% cases, where he doesn't get any of the road Dorito tiles. Because without this meeple over here, and still in blue's hands, the number of block meeples in this is the same. This guy's blocked with the city, this guy's blocked with the city, this guy's blocked in the monastery, and this guy's blocked in the field. And with just a couple of extra scoring opportunities elsewhere, blue can be just fine even in a situation like this. So now, unfortunately, another misstep from blue. It wouldn't have mattered necessarily. Well, not necessarily a misstep. I mean, taking 2 points is fine, but ignoring this city is, of course, the price to pay. Daniel now draws another farmer. Might even consider a monastery or something. Maybe going here. I'd do it. I think it's worth it. It's actually surprisingly hard to block. Monastery over here expands one field, just 2 tiles away from completion. You know, you have this city cap, which is kind of vulnerable, but it's a fun move to play. Instead, he plays it safer and pre-completes his other road. So the idea that if blue gets a curve, no, not a curve, a crossroads, then blue will be given a meeple back, not only to himself, but also to black. Okay, now, do it. Do it. Or maybe not. There's still value to be had from this monastery. Just by going over here, we can restrict blue's city, and at the same time not allow blue to drop an easy farmer over here. So that probably would be the way to go, given black's overall strategy, which is dominance on the farms with the super majority of meeples, and giving him slight lead on the scoreboard. Maybe he does not need to risk with the monastery in order to win. Yeah, so it should probably be between 2 moves, between a monastery over here, which is actually riskier than the other monastery, because this one is more blockable. Yeah, you see, this one's more blockable than the other option. So there are fewer combinations of tiles that go here to complete that monastery compared to a road monastery where the road would be sticking out to it. So like curve per straight line is super common, but then we now would need, I guess curve plus straight line also works, but my concern is that with any city tile, Mr. Vegan could restrict the number of tiles that fit into this monastery to just 1, given how many of the dagger tiles have gone out, but should not be a big concern for Daniel, as he immediately gets a tile to bail him out. Finishing a city, expanding his farm. The Chilean starts another 8-point monastery, realizing that with his meeple count, he is not going to be fighting for the field anytime soon, so he might as well try and catch up on the scoreboard. Interesting move for Daniel here. He could either go here and expand his field, or he could go here and try and make a 50-50 block against this square, given that only 1 vanilla city cap is remaining in the deck. Now, Mr. Vegan makes a severe mistake. He makes a move that hurts himself. He blocks a tile that would give him a meeple back in case he's stuck without meeples, and he is stuck without meeples. I'm really not sure what that was about. Daniel will now go and limit this monastery to a 50-50 probably, or maybe go here and start breaking this city up top a little bit, or he just decides to simply continue his own monastery, and Mr. Vegan continues his city, is 1 tile away from finishing it, maybe move here from Daniel to sort of kind of prevent it, or maybe going over here, limiting the number of tiles that fit here. But the reason why this move is so damaging is that there's nothing that fits into this square. And there might be a situation where blue is stuck without meeples for a longer time than he might wish, then at least he could use one of the 5 remaining crossroads that fit over here to free up a meeple both for himself and for Daniel, just so that he can still score. Well, like now, for example. But now it's not possible. He makes it slightly... Well, I guess now it's possible. Yeah, he can still go here and recover the meeple for both opponents. But is that even now such a good thing? Now that neither opponents have meeples. By the way, Daniel now gets a very interesting tile. So first of all, he got a tile to connect to the city, and at the same time to deny Mr. Vegan here one chance of getting his 3 meeples back in that area. And now he gets a city cap, and the choice is he could score quick points, or he could invade this city himself and just try to get another Dorito and just run away with this game, which I believe it's something that he should do, because if he doesn't do that, then probably instead of the city point, he needs to finish the city himself. It's a shared city, but it isn't his field. It gives him 3 points. But the main reason why I want to finish the city is just to deny your opponent, blue, from going over here with a different tile and going for the same idea. And Daniel goes for the invasion, which I absolutely love. Blue takes quick points, which actually I disagree. It was way, way better to score the quick points over here, just because that's not in your opponent's field. Also, this slightly restricts this square, and this square over here will, in some scenarios, need to be used for blue to create an attacking platform against this, because it's a really big threat of black just winning a big city. Yeah, and the reason why this move is so damaging for blue is because it takes away really a lot of tiles. Now, a cow tile doesn't fit there. None of the 3 extender tiles fit there. Not even speaking about case in point, the cow doesn't go here. That's just a massive, massive disaster. So this was, of course, he finds another use for it, but combating the city is the most possible urgent thing that the play with the blue meeples has to accomplish. Okay, so finally, at least, Mr. Vegan gets all his meeples back. 9 points on the scoreboard, 4 extra for the road. Will be now ahead on the scoreboard, losing the big field, but still plenty of chances to deploy his 4 meeples in a productive fashion. Either maybe fighting for the big field, or maybe getting another monastery over here, or maybe just getting a bunch of small fields himself. But most importantly, what do we do here? I mean, we need to do something about that square. Okay, so first of all, a farmer here for blue. Makes total sense. He's going to try and use his meeples to maximum effects. This farmer could enter this field here. Daniel can just score quick points. I will ASMR you a little bit with the wrap from the protein bar in the meantime. And the play with the black meeple still thinking, what's the best way to score 2 points in a way that develops the board in the most favorable fashion? Or is there something else to be done with this tile? I don't think so necessarily. So maybe going over here, dropping a city cap in his own field, that's kind of a traditional way to go about things. The most important thing here is to not lose on time. But 100 seconds still separate Daniel from that outcome. $80 seconds as of now. I'm kind of surprised at this because it doesn't really look as such a strategically important decision. So always like when you need to take 2 points, you need to think what's the best way to go about this. But typically, the difference is like a half a percentage point when it comes to different percentage or to a possible win percentage, or even less. So the most important thing is that Daniel just make a move. Well, with the 20 seconds remaining, I'm starting to get really worried. Hopefully that's everything's okay. I'm not sure if... I mean, everything seems to be okay, fine with the connection on my end, so he's actually thinking. Whew. 6 seconds, and Daniel drops a farmer. Well, I'm not sure what I think about that, but it doesn't necessarily match what I think. I guess Daniel decided that having just the majority on the field is enough to win. I wouldn't be so sure, as Mr. Vegan here managed to get another monastery, now has 14 points on the scoreboard. And now, of course, the only possible move for him is to go here to try and get another extender and equalize the city here. Cannot think of anything else. And then after that, then maybe, there are actually some chances, some real chances for Blue to win this game without the field. First of all, 5 points for the road. Isn't that interesting, huh? Is that a misclick? But I wouldn't be so sure. That might be a genuine attempt to invade this farm. Which now, of course, will be complete with 8 extra points in the monastery. The problem, the major problem is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... There's still 2 tiles that fit into that square, and Daniel finishes a gigantic city with the help of his opponent. And I have a feeling that this move over here was actually not a misclick. I have a feeling that this was a genuine attempt to fight for this, well, what has become a 9-point field. But it doesn't matter if it's a 9-point field or a 6-point field if you allow your opponent to get away with a 28-point city. And to rub it in, 6 of these 20 points were added through generosity of the play with the blue meeples. Yeah. Is there a way to come back? Well, maybe? No, of course not. Of course not. What I'm talking about. So I think what Blue should do here, just make some high-scoring moves. Yeah, like this one, drop a farmer. That's fantastic. Hope to get a curve to get 5 points. And then just simply prepare himself for the third game, taking a valuable lesson of don't let your opponent get away with 28-point cities. Or at the very least, don't build it for them. Well, I guess, now that I think about this, like there's some logic behind this move for sure. So the hope is just trying to be efficient with the tiles. So you get the farm right here. And then Blue was the one hoping to get this tile, then to get the meeple. So it was kind of just trying to be efficient, but given the number of tiles remaining that fit here, it was just too unlikely to successfully do something about that city. So you actually would need the meeple on the city here first. Because with the meeple on this city, with the blue meeple on this city, black would not have been able to place a tile over here, because obviously black is not going to connect blue to the city himself. And it may seem that it's important to fight for that field or whatever, but it actually isn't. Just denying the 20-point city might have been enough, and then blue might not need these 9 points for this field. Which, by the way, would be even less than 9 points, with the condition that this city does not get completed. Daniel gets a splitter tile, probably going to clean off a city cap over here, or he might go over here and drop another 6-point farmer. That looks even better, actually. Just kind of need to do some quick tile counting to make sure what's worthwhile. Still, control on the main field is something that Daniel and all Mexican fans will enjoy. Chooses to simply clean off the city cap for a net 1 point at the top. Mr. Vegan with a straight line. No real good uses for it. Maybe just getting a 3-point farmer is fine enough. Yeah, he does that. 6-point city for Daniel, and the curve goes for Mr. Vegan, which means that he should have waited, because then he can no longer score these 5 points over here. Not that it mattered necessarily, but if one wants to be precise in the endgame, that would be the way to go. So just completes the road with no extra 5 points. And we're going to see what the point difference is. The monasteries give very brief temporary hope for our Chilean fans, but as the field are counted, these hopes should instantly evaporate, despite the very nice 9 points in the center and up top, and 3 points up top as well. The difference will be 18 points in favor of the Mexican. Honestly, it's kind of low, given the fact how big a city Daniel managed to complete. So, yeah, he's saying, let us go to the third game, and we'll go there too also in a second. So if only this big city were prevented, I think we might have even seen a 2-0 duel here, but it's a good thing for all our neutral Carcassonne fans, because we get to see another decider today, so another tied duel awaits us. Yeah, very interesting what happened here. So quite an unorthodox early move by Daniel, trying to be first on the field, sacrificing quite a lot of equity, and as a result, this led Vladimir to make a couple of tactical misses, you know, getting stuck here for too long, allowing his opponent a blocking attack on his monastery, which could have cost him 2 meeples very easily. And then after that, when he was trying to come back with all these monasteries, that would, of course, was a great attempt. It's just Daniel then quite brilliantly found another way to find an advantage. Instead of simply accruing the majority on his field, he just went for the big city and succeeded. So we will be now moving to the third game. Let me just real quick update the score. Yeah, so it is actually 1-1. There will be a day where I will remember to update the score immediately after each game. I don't think this day will come soon, but it will at some points. All right, so this one looks really good for black, as basically a very straightforward tactical mistake here by Mr. Vegan. Yeah, so that's the thing, how you can see the difference in experience. It's just there are some situations which are not that easy to figure out on the board, and they're just much easier to play is if you know them from your prep. So of course the standard response here from blue would have been to place a meeple on this road, but blue just made that move without a meeple, which allowed Daniel to claim two very, very nice roads close together, and another city over here. So this is looking at slight advantage for the play with the black meeples. Mr. Vegan, I'm going to go over here with a meeple, of course. With a meeple, of course. With a meeple, of course. And he's thinking, yeah. So, in 25% of cases, this move will look brilliant, because there are two tiles that fit into that square. But in 75% of the cases, it won't work, because there are still two tiles that fit into that square. But with the meeple over here, you sacrifice one meeple to control two meeples of your opponent. Like, this move is annoying enough, and the advantage that you're getting is enough. Like, you don't necessarily have to risk harder in order to try and block two of your opponent's meeples, given how rarely it happens. So, yes, Clavier, that was my reaction, indeed. And also, by the way, like, I might sometimes react in ways on my streams that might seem sort of very strong and emotional. But you need to know something. This is also me trying to restrain myself. So, so I'm trying to be like a bit kinder and more. This is cause, like, I know that the Chilean player has really like learned this game relatively recently and has just progressed so much over the course of the last couple of months. So they definitely deserve a lot of credit, and like in the game that they won, they had excellent field control and all kind of things. But of course, a move like this without a meeple is just a severe mistake. Daniel now has a fantastic position with two extra monasteries as well, and yeah, I would be honestly, I would be quite surprised if blue manages to pull this one out. But you know, why not? Why not? How about we start with a monastery of our own? Plenty of good spots. Honestly, very difficult to make a mistake. This over here, supporting our city, controlling Black's road. Good. This over here, controlling Black's two monasteries, creating a pressure point against the square. Good. This over here, putting some pressure against this square over here. Fine. Okay, this here for 4 points would be quite bad, because it would be creating a vulnerability here. But even then it could work out. So the only bad thing that could happen is not meepling a monastery. All right, meeple on the monastery, supporting our city, controlling our opponent's road. Great. Excellent move. Craft Giraffe is saying, people who say that never watched Otto's stream. Yeah, so we really, we have quite different styles, and I think that's a good thing, because sort of they're different, and I think the way we make our streams is for slightly different types of audiences, Even though, of course, there's a lot of overlap. Like, I know that's probably the majority of, well, I don't know, like, I know there are many people who watch also both Otto's channel and my own. But I think he's like really oriented towards sort of like improvement, really towards depth and that kind of thing. Whereas I try to make an approach, at least as far as possible, that would bring in new people into the game. But yeah, but I think it's fine. Like, whichever approach is fine, and as long as you're criticizing the move rather than the person, then everybody should take that in good spirits. But yeah, but I'm criticizing the move. I'm criticizing the move a lot. So look at this. Daniel now building up his city for 10 points, all as a result of this generous donation by Vladimir here. Again, works out fantastically 25% of the time, but 25% of the time is really not a lot. Okay, but still, equal on the scoreboard, a lot of extra meeples for Mr. Vegan here. This is actually quite a nice move because it's a Sophie's Choice block. Wow, that's actually quite annoying to deal with if you're Daniel, because now we need to draw the same dagger in both spaces to free up your meeples. So you very often get trapped. And also, like, this move is actually not that even necessary by Mr. Vegan here. I think a much stronger move by blue would be to go over here and try to invade this road. Because, like, at 25%, or just score 4 points for the road. You see, Daniel is super smart. He doesn't bother defending, which is great. Because he realizes, like, the chance that I'm gonna draw both meeples is super low. So the chances that I'm going to draw both tiles is super low. All I need to do is free up one of my pairs of occupied meeples, namely this one, so I don't even have to defend the other one. Yeah, so that's an excellent choice by Daniel not to defend, and then Daniel managing to take over the road, something that Mr. Vegan here could have done himself. Of course, now slight consolation prize in the terms of 3 points. But yeah, now I guess we're going to get one of those classic games and one of the sides tries to block too hard. And and then just forgetting that, you know, sometimes you need to score as well. But, you know, that's okay. So Mr. Vegan here continue his city at the bottom, although leaving black with his 8-point city construction prospect here alone, at least temporarily. Yeah, that move, of course, is very, very unfortunate. Just sacrificing at least 4 points and probably more to what is simply not a necessary block. Because, like, at some point you gotta say that if you make this Sophie's Choice block, like, this move, great. But after that, the 25% chance of your opponent drawing both of these tiles, it should be enough of a risk that you're willing to take, probably. But let's see how that goes. Black also now going big on blocking. Look at Daniel. Such an uncharacteristic move of him. That was black that put the tile here, right? I'm not hallucinating. Wait, what's that? So black decided to add a point to blue's monastery simply for the sake of creating a platform that would help maybe to restrict, not even block, this square over here. Did not see that coming. Black, in the meantime, might have his cake and eat it too, as he very smartly left the square open, which allowed him to continue the ruin at the bottom, which now he built up, added more points, and then secured the square and made it so that he can still benefit from the unlikely event of him drawing both the dagger tiles for these two places. Now Vladimir is trying to put some additional pressure, maybe getting a Dorito, maybe getting a triple city tile, eating up a 12 city over here. Daniel is opening a blocking platform over here, so his sacrifices might pay off. We cannot defend as Mr. Vegan here, so now we need to decide. Do we go over here, take 2 points, or net 0 point move, because we would also be adding 2 points to Black City in the process, and block the square completely? Or we do over here and try to set up a Dorito to finish a 14-point city, or even a 16-point city, because our opponent is likely to block this square. Now, the answer obviously is the latter. But if you're prone at blocking, and if you like really... Yeah, that's extremely unfortunate, of course. It's a massive misprioritization by blue. Black, in the meantime, just gets some quick points. Blue now should save his meeples, maybe, but also it's not obvious, actually. I don't know if that's correct. So this is a move that would require a lot of his time. No, he just very quickly makes a decision not to save his meeples, and the idea is, if we were to place this tile immediately here, we'll leave ourselves a 50% chance to draw the last cow tile that fits here. But if we leave it open, we still can draw one of the 4 remaining Doritos, or our opponent could draw a row tile, and then we could lose 2 meeples immediately with a 100% chance. So the decision there is not obvious. I don't know if the move that Mr. Vegan played is correct or not. It looks reasonable, and it will end up working out, as he will use the monastery as a defense tile. I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. How? This is a gigantic mistake. I think he must have just forgotten about the city at the top. So getting this tile and not getting blocked at the top is just so unbelievably lucky that I would just be so elated as blue and just go over here, protect your city, still have 4 Doritos in the deck and 1 splitter remaining to go over here. And you see now Black commits the square to a 50-50, which is a really annoying block. Black also has a chance of building up over here and blocking the square completely. I just... Yeah, I just cannot believe it. So again, now it's an interesting question. What does Mr. Vegan do? Does he go over here, finish his city, maybe even drop a farmer? Or does he go over here and cover up his other city and then try and for the rest of the game hope for the cow tile that would allow him to free up 2 meeples? It seems to me that going here is more important at first, to free up the meeples, get the farmer, and then try to overrun the farmer and win that way, maybe even with the blocked meeples. I really like this. I like the farmer there too. Now this is a case of very nice prioritization by Mr. Vegan here. Daniel with the starting tile, not many good uses. Maybe going over here is nice. Just blocking this square, not allowing an easy Dorito move here, which would give Mr. Vegan a couple of points and also an opportunity to drop a 3rd farmer. An alternative is to go here and start some blocking attacks against this square. But yeah, earlier on, this farmer is nice, but it's not urgent because Daniel was short on meeples. So what Blue should have done is, of course, gone over here to protect the city, and only then on the next move, with almost whichever tile, dropped a farmer. So both players exchange quick points, an exchange which slightly favors Black. Mr. Vegan with a tile that fits there nicely. Not sure about the purpose of that move. Actually, as black, as blue, I think there was a stronger move. I think as blue, we should have placed this tile over here, making it slightly harder for Daniel to create a blocking platform against this farmer. This would also accomplish one other thing. Once we draw, as blue, one of the daggers that fit into that square, which is something that we need to count on, and then we get the 4-point city, and then we connect the farms, then if with this city tile over here, this square would be restricted, so we would not need to be afraid about leaving a 6-point road for our opponent to score. So Daniel is now trying to block this city permanently. Mr. Vegan takes 6 quick points. Not a very valuable tile for Daniel, but 2 points is good enough. Mr. Vegan, will he defend his city or will he invade the farm? I'm not sure which is best. This city at the top might be okay to sacrifice at this point. Also, I need to note that completing this field connection is more important than completing this field connection, because the way we enter the black's field is through here. Like, we do need to hope for one of the 2 daggers remaining, and that would be the most efficient way to go about this. On the other hand, if we go here, then we bring one more city into the joint field, so that's nice. On the other hand, it would open another field connection platform for here, which does not benefit us. So blue did decide to protect his city, but it ends up being useless as Daniel draws the last tile that fits into this square. So all of these 2 meeples are permanently trapped. Daniel's not even going to bother continuing his city. He's probably going to go over here, trying to create some blocking threats against this square. Let's see if that's what he does. And yeah, that's a rough situation. Not many useful moves for Mr. Vegan. Maybe dropping a city cap into his field would make sense. It's not possible to easily permanently block this square, but it's possible to severely restrict this. So still 2 dagger tiles remaining that would fit in both of these cases. But how many curves? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there are no curves remaining. So this is blocked permanently. And it's very easy to block this permanently. Isn't that interesting? This is looking extremely bad for blue. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, where's 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, I should always trust the first count. Don't recount. I just wanted to make sure, just because it's so strategically significant. So there are no curvy tiles remaining, no curves remaining. So if somebody goes over here, let's say if this tile were drawn by Daniel, Daniel can go here. This meeple is trapped of 3 points. Ay. Yeah. So Daniel now. What this move does, I have not got the slightest idea. Daniel now fails to block the field connection, which is a blunder, Daniel. Maybe not realizing that the curves have gone out. So Mr. Vegan still here, he gets a second chance, gets to invade the field. He can still fight for it. Like, it will be a lot of points if he manages to get the daggers, or both daggers at the very least. Take over the field. It will be 12 for extra for the dagger. He's already 6 on the scoreboard. He has a monastery just as black. Black has a good ruin, but you know, blue still has chances after this. Generously provided by black. Yeah, it seems to me that maybe Daniel did not realize that there were no curves remaining. So, quite a blunder-heavy game, although before that, I really liked what Daniel was doing. Probably just going to add a city point to himself. And also I need to remind y'all that both daggers are still available that fit here. And if black draws one of them, it probably should be enough for black to win. So blue needs to hope for both daggers. One dagger to connect the farmers, and the other dagger to deny black city points and a meeple. Craft Giraffe is saying, I don't think it's a blunder from black. He can win without the field. But of course it's a blunder from black. If you have a move that can deny your opponent 9 points, and you have a move that scores 2 points for yourself, so the blocking move is 7 points better than whatever that was. So just because he can win without the field doesn't mean he should. Blue drops more city caps, which is great for him because he's setting up a good use for dagger tiles. But Daniel gets the first dagger, and with that, I think he should have just enough points to win this game. He will be finishing a 10-point city, also generously built up by blue a bit earlier. He'll be adding 2 points to his road, and I believe because of his scoreboard lead, which he will now have, and his underrated ruin worth like 14 points or something, he should eke this out, even with blue taking this field. So GG is saying Vladimir in the chat. Is it though? Let's think about this. Can blue have chances? Okay, so 4-point difference on the scoreboard, 4 points for the road versus 5 points on the cities. That's 1, so +3 for black. 6-point monastery versus a 2-point monastery, so that's 2 extra points, so that's +5 for black. 3-point city versus a 1-point city, that's +2 for black, that's +7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. Lordy, lordy, lordy. On the second dagger goes to Daniel. So the farms won't even be connected. That's of course like a bit of an unfortunate tile draw, and I think it will be unfortunate not just for the outcome of the game, because of this ruin. Like probably blue would have not won anyway, because it's unfortunate for learning purposes. Because I think that after this game and after black drew toward 2 daggers, Vladimir might think that the daggers were a key draw and that, you know, he didn't win because he didn't get one of them. And that's of course, it is a bit unlucky, you know, that you don't hit a 75%er. But that wasn't the real reason. And it would have probably been more instructive to actually draw the dagger and see how the map develops and see how you get that field. And then just see what exactly you're missing in order to win this game. So you might see, for example, well, if only I completed my city at the top, I would have won. Or, you know, if only had I not spent a crossroads on a Sophie's Choice block, then I would have won. So yeah, quite of course a painful game for the Chilean player and all the Chilean supporters, but sometimes that is a useful experience coming into the future. First of all, great performance from the Chilean at the start when he managed to pretty much out-strategize Daniel on the fields in the first game, but Daniel later adjusted his playing style and did that wonderfully in the second game, taking control of the main farm in quite an unorthodox fashion, but one that worked perfectly against the strategy of Vladimir. And in the third game, taking advantage from a bit of overzealous blocking from Mr. Vegan here and cruising towards a 2-1 victory, which is exactly what we wanted. Close match, at least relatively close. So yeah, does Mr. Vegan have one other tournament life? No, I think he doesn't. I think that was the lower round. We will be saying goodbye to him, sadly. And Daniel will be moving on to round 4 of the lower bracket, where he will be facing, again, Miami of Germany. So we're headed for another Mexico versus Germany rematch. That should be immensely exciting. I just wanted to recap this game a little bit. So it looks 98 versus 66, which of course massive. Would have been way less had blue drawn one of the daggers. Yeah, so it seemed to be just slightly overzealous blocking cost blue a lot of points, where a good amount of blocking would have gone really nicely. So this monastery move and point sacrifice was actually very nice. It's just the follow-ups were way too costly point-wise. So yeah, lots of tactical mishaps from blue, sadly, like losing this city with many chances to save. That was certainly most unfortunate. And I think this might be not a conscious choice. I think there was just an oversight, because this city wasn't been touched for a couple of moves. Black drop to farmer here. So it seems to me that blue's eyes were simply just drawn to this part of the board a little bit earlier on. And of course, this move over here, even though that delayed by black a lot, moves like these are always played with a meeple to control both of your opponent's features instead of hoping for a 25% chance of dropping 2 dagger tiles. And these things, they really do add up, have an influence. Daniel managed to score really well, get some quick points. This road, which could have belonged to the Chilean with a different move choice. This monastery, of course, certainly helped. And then roughly equal amount of completed cities for both sides, and just a beautifully managed ruin by Daniel that helped him cruise to a big advantage in this game. Glovier is saying Blue's biggest problem was not to defend his 2 city meeples afield. Yeah, this one. And you know, like, this one, the reason why this so surprised me so much, and why I'm so convinced that this is an oversight rather than a conscious choice, is because typically players who are very focused on blocking are also focused on defending their meeples as well. Because typically, if I'm somebody who values blocking, this means that I'm somebody who views blocking as incredibly harmful. And if I want to play this against my opponent, then I also don't want it to happen to me. So I don't really know of many players who like block opponents' meeples, but also leave their own meeples vulnerable. And for example, I tend to have very aggressive style. Not the most aggressive out there, but definitely one of the most aggressive, I have to say. Then I tend to defend my meeples less and block my opponent's meeples less. So kind of acknowledging that losing a meeple is not the end of the world in many situations, and that's why I don't do it that much to my opponent, and that's why I don't mind it that much done to me. Of course, not in this situation. I mean, of course, you always defend 2 meeples here. But I'm just talking about the general approach to the game, and that's why what it makes me think that blue must have simply forgot. So, yeah, difference in experience can really do a lot in this game. Daniel, of course, has been here for a few years, already achieved his master title a long time ago, won the United States Championship at some point. So, this all shows. Yes, the rematch will be super spectacular. I'm really interested to in the psychological aspect of that. So does it benefit? Does the rematch benefit more Miami because he'll be hungry for revenge, or does it benefit Daniel a bit more because he sort of has like wait. Daniel lost, so Daniel will be hungry for revenge. Miami supposedly has to have like the momentum of defeating him in the first match. On the other hand, it could be, you know, like from Miami's perspective, like, again? We played 3 games, I barely won, and I have to play this guy again? So, yeah, I'm not sure. It's an interesting tournament format that actually allows rematches, so that's what double elimination does for you. But there will be only one way to find out. Anyway, don't go anywhere, because after I update the score, there's one job that we still need to finish. First of all, make sure to meeple the like button, because that's important for the algorithm. Once in a while, I've noticed, like, whenever there are more likes, then I start seeing new people in the chat. That actually does happen. And then, you know, we get comments like, oh, I never knew competitive Carcassonne was a thing. How great. Yes, awesome. This is exactly what we want to happen. So congratulations to Daniel, all the Mexican fans. And we will not be ending the stream, because we will now be going back to this game, which, of course, we started analyzing just to kind of fill the time between the first match and the second match, but now I'm way too invested into this. So it is the decider between Santiago Iniguez of Argentina and Kai Michishita of Japan, from a match that happened earlier today, which ended 2-1 in one of the players' favor. Some of you know how it ended, but those of you who are joining recently don't know. Anyway, and we're in the middle of this game, and it's pretty interesting. And there are a lot of interesting things happen. So Red, that's the Japanese player, is attacking this big city, and he's probably now going to connect. And there's Red also owns this field. But Green has the scoreboard lead and has the meeples to maybe fight for the city, fight for the field, or achieve victory through other means. So the next move should be pretty obvious. And now let's see what Santiblader does about this. Glavier is saying, I tend to defend city meeples the most, then roads, and very rarely monasteries. Yeah, it kind of makes sense, because city meeples, of course, if you get the city completed, then only you get the meeple out, but you also double the points. Roads and monasteries should be roughly equal, because when you develop roads and monasteries, you get 1 point per tile. But monasteries are more flexible, because when you add points to your monastery, you can use either road tiles or city tiles or monastery tiles, whereas roads can only be continued with road tiles. Alrighty, so this city cap, no idea what to do here, so I presume either starting a new field over here, or doing the move that I earlier suggested, going over here, dropping a farmer, trying to connect, after connecting, hoping to block that square, or when you drop a farmer, you set up a 6-point city, which only you can benefit from, because you would also be finishing your monastery. The downside of that move, unlike my previous suggestion, doing it with this tile over here, it would expose a city cap over here, which could be used by Red to score a quick point and then drop another farmer. So let's see if Green goes for the field anyway. And he does, but in a slightly suboptimal position. Yeah, so Setsugentou will now finish his monastery. Santiblader finally gets to invade the city, because what else would you do with that tile? The city is way too big. Which makes me think, is it crazy, as Setsugentou here, to not finish your monastery, to not get 4 points, to not get a meeple back, but just cover up the city? Because then, first of all, there's still a threat to complete it, but no invasions are possible anymore. And so there's still one tile that goes here. Couple of tiles that go here. But even if you don't get to complete it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16 points. 16 points that are guaranteed to you. What do you all think? Yeah, I think it could really, really work. I'm just thinking about the long-term winning chances. Because, like, you get the 16 points. But you maybe don't get this meeple, and you don't get the 5, and you don't get the 4 points over here. So it's essentially investing 12 points for a meeple, which is a useful investment. So yeah, I actually really like covering up this city. I know you really want to go here. I think also like there's some very nice equity of actually setting up a blocking attack against this guy. But then this guy can also go through here. Yeah, so I think the main entry platform is actually not through here, but through 4-point road and another 2-point road like this. That's another route. Yeah, I actually really, really like covering up here. Yeah, I know the field schmeal. Like, we can afford equality on the field if we have 16 on the city. Or maybe not, or maybe I'm not sure. I mean, this can't be wrong. But covering up the city feels extremely powerful, and we still have one more tile that goes over here. And we're probably forcing Santiblader to be terrified and now start spending tiles and blocking here. Plus the equity of completing the city, which is actually surprisingly close to 50%. It has to be like over 40. Okay, not over 40, but like close to 40. Like 35 something. Because obviously we're flipping to go over here. This square is extremely hard to block because all the tiles that are needed to block have to be used elsewhere by green. And there's another evil hamster spot, so we have another route for winning. Yeah, I have a slight preference for actually covering up the city, but I'm not sure if I had the chance to pull the trigger on it myself in a game. And I guess there's also still the splitter that you can use. But one thing, there's one dangerous possible outcome is that our opponent could technically overrun the city with 2 meeples. That's also something that we need to be slightly afraid of. Wise Maze is saying you need to draw a CCCF and a splitter or vanilla before the opponent draws curves or crossing, but this is not entirely true. This is under the assumption that the curve or crossing will be definitely used for blocking. And the thing is, if, of course, so let's say if we get the, how do you call this? The cow tile first, then, of course, our opponent's utmost priority will be to go here and block. But if you get the city cap, well, first of all, but if you don't get it, and if your opponent gets a curve, because they need to connect to the farm, and that's a plus 15 move for them, so it's important. They might want to do that instead of blocking because from their perspective, they just might want to gamble for the 50-50 chance. And you also know that they can't connect to with the monastery tile because the monastery they need over here. So they really have to connect either with the crossroads, which they also need for blocking, or the curve, which they also need for blocking. So they will be needing the same tile for blocking and connection And the point is, it's not that we have to finish that city, it's just like what this does overall for the winning chances. So we've guaranteed ourselves 16 points, we have a threat of finishing it, we have the threat of winning some of the coin flip for these key scoring tiles, and we have the threat of blocking field entries. And all these threats combined, I wonder if they're worth more than simply 4 points and a meeple back. And I have no way of proving it, but it feels that maybe the correct move is to actually do this. Yes, Wise Maze, exactly. This needs to be sent to topcarcassonner.com for one of the puzzles. Okay, I don't actually think that you need to invest 2 tiles to block. Because if you get a curve, let's say, yourself, we can go over here, and then that would basically be a complete block, because that would force green to use tiles to connect to the field that he needs elsewhere. So the monastery he needs for the evil hamster, the city he needs over here. And then if I curve it like this, he kind of needs them to connect. I mean, of course, there's always this route. Yeah, this farmer doesn't really get blocked that often. I know. But still, like, in the spirit of the position, threats. All right, I mean, you can't blame blue, or you can't blame red for making like the most natural move possible. Setsugentou, yeah, okay, interesting. He doesn't even bother blocking. He just takes quick points. And actually helps to connect a little bit. Honestly, I might want to prefer scoring 3 points instead of 4, just to give myself that chance. Because now Santi gets monastery tile and suddenly is ahead on the scoreboard. Santi has an extra monastery. This is looking not always that great for Setsugentou. Okay, now this farmer is really, really good. Yeah, and that is why it was so important for Santiblader to use this tile and not this tile for that kind of stuff. This city could have waited. Just because Santi used the tile with another city cap on it to connect to a farm, it made it much easier for red to do stuff like this. Yeah, so red just must have had already a strategic idea when going over here. That was simply to use this farmer as another insurance farmer. Which I guess works a lot of the time, but some of the time it's actually green that goes here, and then red is in trouble. Alright, so let's see what green does. Yeah, starting a new farm himself makes sense. And just keep scoring. Trying to connect to the farm. Then I think some patient. Well, okay, what did you do here, Santiblader? Can you win actually at all? Yes, you can. You have 6 points ahead of the scoreboard. You have 9-point field. You have an 8-point monastery. That's plus 14. Plus. Okay, 9-point field versus a 15-point field. So that is what? Minus 6. So plus 8 for Santiblader minus a meeple. So all Santi needs to do is just connect to the city. I think there's a way to do this. Maybe we just go here. Yeah, I really like this. We go here. And we just wait for a Dorito. Because we don't want to allow our opponent to block or to get a splitter. And then, if we really, really have to, there's some other field attacking chances. What are they? Well, actually, there are not many chances. Oh, okay, so I can see the chances at some point, if we get something like a curve or a crossroads, we might go here. Yeah, there we go, there we go. And try to connect through some sort of curve. And hope that our opponent gets a tile such as a road tile that actually does not allow a block here. So my move as green is to go here. Which is exactly what green does. Nice. Setsugentou with one of the triangles. Not allowing an easy field invasion, but that's fine. We just get quick points. And we don't necessarily have to win the field yet. Splitter tile goes to Setsugentou, and I believe that at this stage we have a 33% chance of winning the game. There's this endgame is pretty obvious, actually. I don't think that Santi is winning without this curve here. So the move is probably to claim the 9-point field and just wait for the and just wait for the Dorito, right? Is there anything else that can be done? I don't think there is. And will doing that be enough? Yeah, probably. 18 field versus 15, that's +3. We have +5 on the scoreboard, +8 for the monastery. And also, if we go over here, and our opponent will be getting a city cap, immediately they might take these 6 points for the city, but they will be us a meeple back so that we can meeple this 4-point road. Unless, of course, they draw this tile in the last round, which is possible. But what happens then? Then I think we still win, no? Okay. Because they take 8 points for this, +6 for the city, +3 for the field, -1 for this. They maybe take... yeah, then they get the cow tile, which helps them score 3 anywhere. Here, I don't know, anywhere. And then that's it. So they're getting 11. We're equalizing. We're having +3 on the fields, +8 on the monastery. So +13, +16. Yeah, we're winning by 5 points. So surprisingly, it's a very simple endgame where we have 1 in 3 chance to win. So we drop the farmer. Setsugentou takes this. Ah, okay, that's actually very nice of them. No, I don't think that is. No, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And because the move that we have to play now is we need to go over here to prevent our opponent from taking this 5-point road if we're completely precise. But sadly, it doesn't matter. Because what matters is that we're not connecting to the city. Well, what's that about? Come on. Oh, no, okay, it's a 1 point for the monastery. Yeah, that makes sense because he's obviously getting 3 points for this farmer, 3 points for this farmer, and that's all the same. But the second Dorito also goes to Setsugentou, who even meeples the road. So what's that? 1-5 versus 0-3. So a 1 point mistake in the end from Santiblader, which ends up being inconsequential. We'll see the full point difference in just a second. Seven points is the difference. So yeah, really, really close. And Santiblader would have won had he connected to the ruin. So it's of course quite fortunate for Setsugentou that he got both Doritos. The game could have been very, very different without those two Doritos. Yeah, so he clearly chose the strategy of field control, but I love the idea of covering this city up so much, especially after the game. I'm not sure if I would be able to pull the trigger, but yeah, that would have been very, very nice. So, what do we learn from this? Well, first of all, probably like well-deserved. I mean, well-played game from both sides. I kind of felt that Kai Michishita was more precise because he had a long-term plan for the entire game, and he followed it through like really, really methodically, whereas for Santiblader, sometimes like change a little bit from time to time. Sort of make a move which made short-term tactical sense, but did not always pay off. And that's also despite the fact that Santi got the coin flip for this monastery. Santi got the coin flip for this monastery. Santi got the coin flip for this city cap when he was, even though that was a little bit too late at that time. So really well played here, well by Kai, managing to drop that early farmer, something that could have been done by Santiblader, and I think the main subtlety was the difference. Just flipping these two tiles could have changed the outcome of the game entirely. If Santiblader were to just wait with continuing the city, use this tile to drop a farmer, and use this tile to continue the city, then this move from red would not have been possible, and we might see that farmer invade the main field for a completely different outcome of the game. Yeah, so very, very interesting. We will be wishing the best of luck to Setsugentou into his next round, and sadly saying goodbye to Santiago Iniguez. So that was Q1 what? Q1 1, I believe, actually. Yeah, exactly, so Setsugentou will be playing against Basiliuk in the 4th round in the lower bracket. After that, one of them will be awaited by the Portuguese player who lost to Erwin Gall in the upper finals. Yeah, some exciting things are coming up. We will be wrapping up the shortly. Let's just see if there are any new matches for us to watch soon enough. So not today, but tomorrow. I still need some time to, convince myself to do this, but I'm thinking that I might actually cover all of it. So yeah. So we're covering at least one, and maybe even more. So stay tuned. There will be an announcement at a short notice. And of course, in addition to that, reminder to you all that at 21 UTC tomorrow, the final of the Brazilian Team Carcassonne Online Championship is also happening on this channel. So it's going to be eventful. Okay, Wisemaze is saying the dagger wouldn't be there. I am not sure which dagger you're referring to and what would be there. Yeah, Santi could have probably prevented the whole situation with the ruin, but anyway, I think we're just going to leave that. The dagger that I wanted to place to close the city on the left. Well, yeah. Yes. And then I would... Okay, let's just open it up again real quick. because we might be speaking about different situations. So when I was referring to, I was talking about the other dagger too, which is something that Santiblader could have used to invade that field, which was way, way before that. And then obviously, okay, yeah, so then Setsugentou drew this dagger to drop this farmer over here, but then he wouldn't have done that, he would have finished his monastery afterwards, but then he could have done the same stuff with another city cap later on. So still, my main point about all the Santiblader's invasion in the farm was just to show the difference of when you invade the farm with kind of a clean city cap or a city cap which also allows another platform. Yep, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Alrighty, now it should be enough for today. So at first the stream turned out to be much shorter than I thought it would be, because obviously I had some issues and I needed to come home a little bit later, and then we thought that one of the matches was cancelled, but turned out that it wasn't. And the stream ended up being even longer, and likely quite a massive stream awaiting us tomorrow. 2 streams, so buckle up for tomorrow. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.